that you do 2 welcomes now.
Yes, because you keep trying to imitate my intro, and so I change it up every now and again. Hey, I'm Omar. Rev is trying to imitate me, and they say the sincerest form of flattery is imitation, or something silly like that. I am Omar Krieg, and welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion. I've so screwed up my intro, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say anymore. We're playing Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. This is Segmentum First, Into the Maw, episode 16. With me are my usual cast of Please God Help Me characters, and they are the characters, but these characters are playing other characters. Let's take a moment to check. Yeah. Take a moment to check in with them, see what's new and exciting for them, and hopefully Rev won't detail the full 20-minute dissertation on how to clean
That was not 20 minutes. I kept it to at least 5.
At least, that's the problem. It needs to be less than. He failed that assignment. Rev, let's go ahead and get this over with. What's new and exciting for you?
Well, I've discovered some new insights into the ancient lost past. But for now, we'll just talk about the fact that I...
No.
But for now, we'll just talk about the fact that I repaired a microwave and didn't fry myself.
Yes, and microwaves have what? Radiation. I said it, and I hope everybody has nightmares now.
You mean
everything in the physical universe has radiation to it?
Meh. I mean, not perceptibly so, because...
It's a non-zero, therefore there is.
I radiate.
Yes.
Infrared.
I mostly radiate charm, but that's not really important right now.
I meant charm, I would more describe it as irritation.
My wife is radiant, but that's a different thing.
And we're also not going to talk about that right now.
I think it's best if we don't talk about how radiant his wife is.
I don't even know
that's for me to say.
anything about her. So.
Warder, just because you married the elephant's foot doesn't mean you get to brag.
Wow, the elephant's foot? Wow, that is a bold statement, my friend. All right, we're going to move on.
It's a Chernobyl reference. Come on now, he's not being insulting.
I just love how we've gone from radiation to amazing wife, and then back to radiation with a reference of the elephant's foot. That was a Chernobyl thing.
The elephant's foot was my nickname in high school.
Not going there right now. Darius, help us out. Get us out of this hole that we can't seem to find the exit. I can't even speak.
I don't want to have anything to do with your guys' souls.
Whoa, yeah. See, somebody had to take it the wrong way. All right, Alterio, it's your up. Let's see how long you last.
What? Nothing thing. Yeah.
All right, Warner, this is going to be the fastest we've ever done intros.
Work has me very busy and stressed, so let's kill some orcs.
That sounds like an amazing plan. Let's do that. So let me find my notes, because I can't do anything without my notes.
We killed one squad, one guy ran away, and we have one squad left to face.
No, hold on. I have a whole previously thing to read.
We found a big crystal tower, and we discovered, because of the GM slip-up, that the ship is in the outer asteroid belt.
I never said that.
No, but we know it.
How?
Unless you go and GM change it. Because you intimated.
I didn't intimate shit.
You didn't mean to.
Previously on Tithes of Acheron, having received ample motivation for securing the wreck of the Righteous Path via the Inquisition and agents of the Liege of Footfall, the crew of the Acheron's ferry set off for the Mogoros system. Upon arrival there, and a full scan of the system, little of note was initially seen until a closer review of Mogoros Prime revealed not only orcs on the planet, but also a strange crystalline structure on the surface. Deciding to check it out, the explorers arrive on the planet and begin moving towards Crystal Tower, only to run first into a band of orcs.
Orcs.
That was perfectly timed. Thank you.
Green giants.
That was abysmal. While some of those orcs have either been slain or forced to run off, another squad continues their advance, perhaps unaware that their partner team has already been defeated, and we begin in the beginning of another round of combat. So I'm going to switch this over to this screen.
Would orcs refer to other people with them as a partner team? Come on now.
Listen, I used words that we, the players, and they, the viewers, would understand. We all know orcs are just like, yeah, them orky boys over there. They ran off or
Filthy
died.
gits.
Yeah, those useless gits are dead or gone. So let's start with I believe this is like round 4.
3.
We've only done 2 rounds of
2,
combat.
1.
Blast off. All right, here we go. Reinhardt, speaking of blasting off, why don't you blast one of these orky boys? Or maybe just stand there and look pretty. Whatever it is that you do.
I like to stand here and look pretty.
We know you do.
You should understand. My looks are wonderful. Or at least so the ladies have told me. A
It's the-
Fräulein on every word, my friend. A
It's the
Fräulein
uniform.
on every word.
It's the uniform. It's definitely the uniform.
Well, and the money.
Hey, must be the money. Wait.
Wrong.
Anyway,
Wrong.
I want to be rich.
Oh, also, if you haven't already, refresh your fate points, and let's get to slaying some orcs before, because they are grossly outnumbered, but they think they can
Swedish
take you.
meatballs. All right, let's do this thing. I'm thinking.
Before we go any further in the round, I apologize. Who wants the +10 this round?
Trucker clock. Who wants it?
I mean, I don't. The only people
I'll
I
vote
play,
for
you know what? The
myself
orcs
again.
want it because they're the only ones I play.
Right.
So the orcs
Well-
want your +10.
Well,
bonus.
Okay. Can I get some votes for
My vote would be for myself again, but
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. Give it to him.
Okay. Well, then I will be in some form or fashion directing my pilot to shoot at the most advantageous target.
Shoot that one there. He looks more of a problem.
Well, that was not what I was trying to do. Where's the
Shoot that
ruler
one.
tool?
He's slightly greener.
There it is. We're gonna. Yes. All right. I'm gonna shoot this guy right here.
That one sneered at me. Shoot him.
His face
His face is the
Is
orkiest of faces.
very explosive, or is about to be.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fire off the Hellgun and Plasma Gun at him. Full auto on Plasma, semi-auto on Hellgun. Do the thing.
Yep.
Make the roll.
Don't think
Where's
there's any.
the dealy bob?
You got
There it
a.
is.
It's +20 for full auto, and I don't think they have the.
And I have
No,
+10
they
for the motion
moved.
sensor on the thing.
Yeah, and they didn't. Yeah, I was trying to get at. They didn't sprint last round, so they have no bonuses at the moment,
Yes.
or no.
They're
protected-
also maidenless. It's a joke.
So
The audience will
Yeah.
love it, I swear.
or
Sure.
not. Do.
71.
It's still a hit.
Oh, excuse me, a 70. What was your target number?
My target number is 89.
So that is, technically
A degree of success.
Yeah, that's only
So
1
I
degree.
get
So
a
you're
second shot on the plasma gun, and that's it.
yeah. All right. Roll damage on the first target.
So-
70 is a location. Oh, that's a head hit.
Excellent.
Let's see.
The Hellgun
They have
says
one-
his head is about to be gone.
Well, 1 armor on his head. What's the pen? Like 7 or 9?
7, yeah.
Yeah, armor negated. So damage.
Hey, look, that's a 0. So
Well, no,
that's
hold on.
16 damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. 16 minus 8 for their toughness is 8 damage, leaving him with
no head.
no. His head is still there.
Oh,
Just
Me
a nub.
teeth!
Math is failing me, and short-term memory is failing me.
His jaw, a portion of his neck, and the unimportant
Oh,
pieces of
hold
his
on.
brain
Never
are all
mind.
gone.
Never mind. I stand corrected. This one's already got previously existing damage.
Ooh.
So this one,
Me teeth!
I don't think he even really gets a chance for all that. He just is like, they shooting at me, and drops.
All right. So now it is time for 2 rounds from the plasma gun.
Yep. And I imagine you're just gonna go after the next one in line.
Next closest, yes.
Well, yeah, that would make sense since he's probably within like 2 feet. The measurement thing he is.
Yes. So first one is 8 plus 7 is 15 damage
That's 7
with
damage.
pen 6.
And armor is negated. 15 damage. That's their
'Kay.
8 toughness is 7. Blah 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 blah. Okay.
And
Brad
then the
is just
next
now joining the
one
table.
is 16 damage.
I had to look up the password.
Okay. He is just barely hanging on,
Okay.
but he's still in the fight for now. Who
He
is
leaves him hanging on.
Yeah.
That
Brigadillo.
toughness is significant.
Yeah. Brigadillo.
Yes.
The Lord Captain.
I believe they are outside of my convenient range. It's not me.
More than triple range is out of range, just so you know.
Yes, but they're actually under double technically.
Which would be, yes, you wouldn't get a modifier for range. Unless you moved up, but probably not even then.
I don't know that I'll move up. Perhaps.
Although, given your current position, you may want to scoot a little bit closer to the rocks. I think I ruled that you were close enough based on various other
The
things.
other group, but this group maybe not.
Yeah.
What would a roll to vault over the chest high wall look like?
There wouldn't be it wouldn't be necessary. It would just eat, and I'll just say to vault over one of those chest high walls is they're not even chest high, they're more like waist high, but just eat an inch of movement, or actually probably 2 to get up, and then 1 up and then 1 over.
And we don't have to worry about friendly fire in this.
Correct. I think we can establish that you guys are at least competent enough to oh nope, can't shoot right now because the Lord Captain just walked right in front of my muzzle. Hey, Lord Captain, maybe next time a little more situational awareness.
Oh no, I was worried about shooting through someone else. You know how these bolters are.
Or, oh, can't shoot right now. Stupid LT and his stupid LT people.
Who?
Huh?
I'm sorry. Were there peons in front of me?
Lieutenant,
I was just throwing random shit
Tell him
out
on.
there. Don't listen to me. Come on.
Wheel of Time.
Yes. Dear. I guess I'll just take a double burst with my plasma and my bolter.
All right, semi-auto.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 10.
The old double burst.
So it'll be a plus 10 on the roll. And then no modifier for range, as far as I recall.
No. Not unless you want to be picky.
No, but I'm also not throwing in obstacles because there's rocks between all of you. I don't think it's a fair chance to say that if you are shooting with intent to harm, that you can take into account that there might be some rocks between you and your opponent. And nothing currently breaking line of sight.
If you shoot without intent to harm, why are you shooting?
Listen,
I'm
there's some
assuming
people that need to be taught that lesson.
I'm assuming the orcs aren't running at a crouch. That's not a very
No, correct. They're also orcs. They don't run at a crouch.
Yes, so
it's either crouch or run. It's not both.
My ballistic skill plus 10, yes?
Correct. All right. What was your target number?
Does this count for both weapons or only one?
I think Reinhardt was doing for both.
Yep.
Yeah. So
you're making one attack roll, so if you miss with it, you miss with everything.
Yes. Well, it's my threshold is a 69.
Nice.
So that's 4 degrees of success. That means you get 2 additional hits.
Both my weapons only have 2. Now, when it says 2, does that mean 2 additional or
I believe it's 2
shots
total.
That's what I thought. So 2 hits with the plasma pistol. That is a 2d10 plus 6.
What's the pen?
It is pen 6.
All right, that's going to negate all their armor. Go ahead and roll damage. And I will take out take out the toughness.
I should roll 2 separate, but this because I'm less likely to get too high.
What's the damage there?
So that's going to be a 7 and a 10.
Okay. You're shooting at this one, correct?
Yes. There's no. I'm looking. Is there any special quality to plasma weapon ammo?
No.
There
burning or
is a
something.
special plasma ammo. It's called Microflask.
No, not that, not that. I was asking, is there any special
like
special
setting your
quality
target
for
on
burst
fire or
weapons.
something? It's just damage.
Gotcha.
The biggest thing really
Yes.
is that if you
the
roll
critical?
a fumble, it's gonna explode in your face. First orc is down
Unless
there.
you have the special ammo.
Yeah. And then this guy, I'm assuming, is next because of the way semi-automatic works. Go ahead and roll damage on that guy with your other weapon system.
Yes.
And what's the pen on the second weapon?
The pin on my bolter is 5 pin.
Okay.
But it's the burning ammo.
Okay. Does it still have the tearing quality?
Yes.
Then,
Oh right. So that was just my first shot. I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
So 8 plus what is it? Plus 5?
sorry, when I zoomed in on the map, so yes, 8 plus 5, so
13.
13.
And the pen on it one more time. Sorry, short-term memory shit.
That's fine. The pin on that is 4.
Okay, so that negates armor outright. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Minus 8 is 5. So that will be
I thought they had 7 toughness.
8. Because they have 4 toughness, and then they have a trait that gives them double that,
Okay.
or something like
double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
that. Sure.
I'm tempted to pull this video because I swore it was 7 last week. Anyway, it doesn't
No,
matter.
it's been 8 all along. And then your second shot, roll twice again, and take the better result.
So after that is when you're going to test to see if he's on fire?
Yeah, because he may not even be alive.
Okay.
May not. Depends on what you roll. 6 plus 5 is 11. Minus 8 is 3 additional damage.
Since I hit him twice, can he do 2 checks
No.
to see if he's on fire?
No. We're not doing that. I don't really want to open this up on Discord, so let's do this. And now I can open up Discord. I knew what I was trying to say. Because I know Altorius blasted us with the fire thing last week, or the week before. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
It's right above the password.
Oh, I'm in the wrong channel, that's why. No, I'm in the right channel.
You pinned it.
Did I pin it?
You did.
Ah, yes, I did. Alright. Character suffers damage from fire Okay, one more time. A character suffers damage from fire each round he is exposed to it. At the beginning of each round after the first, in which a character is exposed to the same source of flames, or if he's hit by a weapon with the flame special quality, makes it... Okay, so in the next round, I have to make a challenging agility test to catch on fire.
I would assume you'd have to make it this round and then check to see if he burns next round.
You go to not catch on fire. Or not to stay on fire. Yes, not to stay on fire. To not stay on fire.
Yeah. So I start so I roll now, and if I am
Unless,
on fire,
of course, I suppose he wants to jump into the fire, then he could make
I mean,
an
he'd be
agility
warm for the
test
rest
to
of his
catch
life.
fire. Yes.
All right, challenging agility. See if he catches fire.
Tau of Pratchett, my friend.
Let me see. Agility is 30. That'll be difficult to... Yep, he's on fire. And then that gives him...
I'm directing Jace.
Hang on. I gotta read. So, once a character's on fire, he suffers 1d10 damage with no reduction from armor. Toughness would apply though, so that's helpful. It suffers 1 level of fatigue each round until the fire is extinguished.
Does fatigue have any effect on toughness?
You know, that's a great question. Let's one step at a time though, because I need first to mark that he is on fire.
Well, while he's mathing, I'm going
I'm
to
not. It's
direct-
not. This isn't a mathing thing. I need to put something down on the ground that says he's on fire.
Fine, but I'm telling you're doing things that are more GM based. I'm directing the other squads. Men, shoot at the orc that's not on fire. Let's watch him burn. Or orcs, I
And-
suppose. So my +10 would be sort of directing
Let's see.
to shoot one of the others.
Once character's on fire, and then I roll a 1d10. Okay, so the number 1 is the current level of fatigue that's on him. And I will update
understand
that
that
as long as he survives. This is his
Some
actual
people
damage.
enjoy fried mushrooms.
Wow. 3 damage, so that gets absorbed, but he is burning. And then I believe in order to put it out, I need to do a hard agility test. That's going to be difficult because I need to roll a 10 as a full action. Oh, but the GM can make this test easier or harder depending on environmental conditions and whether the blazing character is able to receive help from nearby allies.
They would laugh at him.
Oh, wait. If a character is on fire and is not wearing a fully enclosed suit of armor, the character must make a challenging willpower test at the beginning of each of his turns in order to be able to take actions normally. Otherwise, he may only run around and scream, which counts as a full action. I'm on fire, and it kind of hurts. I'm on fire, and it kind of hurts. Put it out. And he's just an orc soaking fire damage.
Your orc impression needs work.
I'm well aware.
I'm an orc and I'm on fire.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, with an orc rolling 1d10 damage with 8 toughness, how does he just continues to burn, and he's just like, I don't know.
I'm going to be busy running around for no apparent reason.
Well, see, here's what I'm picturing against the orc is basically crowd control. He's on fire. He has to try and put the fire out, and until he does, he's basically not a threat to us.
Yeah.
It is kind of like a stun.
It's basically it's like a mobile stun lock.
It's a stun. See, what I have is a stun round for sadists.
That's certainly a way to do it. All right. Acheron troops squad 2. I don't remember which one. I think this is squad. Nope, this is squad 2.
That's my squad, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to look
they're
up
going
fatigue.
to-
Sorry.
Maintain the prep for pinning once. Oh, wait, no. They were suppressing them in the open. They were doing the pinning thing. So they're going to keep doing that. Suppressing fire!
Okay. I trust you can walk yourself through the things. I'm trying to look up what fatigue does. That's gonna be under. Oh, that's gonna be under playing the game, whatever that it's called in this book. Let's see. Fatigue 251.
From all your time with me, you haven't figured out what fatigue does?
As my entire life as an adult, I know exactly what fatigue does. Let's see. Fatigue measures. Fatigue is measured in levels. Character can take a number of levels of fatigue equal to his toughness bonus and still function, although with some side effects. Let's see. Number of levels in excess of his toughness bonus, he collapses unconscious for a while. So if he makes it up to 9 rounds of being on fire, he just falls asleep. For 10 minus toughness bonus. So basically, he'll fall asleep for 2 minutes.
Wait.
Oh, I just realized I'm supposed to make a ballistic skill test at a -20 to see if my wild spray of gunfire hits anyone in the kill zone.
We didn't do that?
We didn't do that last time.
Warner?
doesn't
No,
really
I thought
matter,
no.
'cause they're pinned.
I thought the parameter that we had set up was something to the effect of once they hit, I think like here or here. I forget the specifics now.
It was once they were out in front of the rocks, out in the open.
Okay.
So, not my.
If not, then I don't care. At this point, they're out in the open,
Yeah, yeah.
and
No, I mean
I
you're.
beheaded one of them, so suppressing. So let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Rolling.
So my realization was
They do not hit anybody, but that's okay, because the orcs still have to make their pinning test.
And that is, I want to say it's willpower, but there's
Minus
a modifier.
20. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's start with Mr. Bernie Boy first. Willpower 8. Total modified, that is. Okay. He is
Pinned.
pinned. So let's go with. Oh, let's do this. Control C, Control V, and we're gonna do. Oh, we're gonna make it yellow because it's kind of like a fear. So
Like a mouse.
Yep. So he has got the yellow marker. We're gonna make that down a little bit smaller too. All right, and then also the rest of them are also gonna need, I believe, the same number. So I'm just gonna roll 2 more times. 12. And it was so close to being a 9. It still wouldn't have been enough, but all right. So
my
they're
headset cut out.
pinned.
Can you hear me now? I apologize.
Yes, I
can
hear you now.
yes.
All right. So yellow is pinned, and I forget exactly what I want to say. It's like I have to move away from the source, but I can only move at half distance. But I need to make another willpower test to do that, or something like that. I forget exactly what it is.
I'm looking it up right
That
now.
also is from
Pinned.
Only War, not necessarily the same thing as Rogue Trader. It might be slightly different.
Being pinned. Willpower test. On a success, character may act normally. Fail. Yeah, we know that. A pinned character may only take half actions. Additionally, they suffer a minus 20 penalty to all ballistic skill tests. If a pinned character is in cover, relative to the attacker that pinned him, he may not leave it except to retreat, provided he can remain in cover while doing so. If he is not in cover when pinned, he must use his half-action turn to attempt to reach cover. If
Okay,
there is no
let's-
cover
let's do
nearby,
the-
they must move away from the attacker that pinned them.
All right. Pinned in open. Half action only. What was after that?
They have to seek cover with their half-action. If there's no cover to be had, they have to run away from whatever's shooting at them.
And then, if in cover, half action only. And
You
then
wouldn't
what-
have a D8, would you? I've heard of a system where, like, if they have to run a specific direction, you roll on a D8 to see which direction they run towards for cover.
Well, in their case, it's just simply going to be in the reverse direction, because
Okay.
the safest way for them to get out of being pinned is to get behind that red rock. That's right behind them, because that will break line of sight.
Fair.
Otherwise, it's to either try to run forward to get in front of, or to crouch behind this, or to go back behind these.
So, just one of them is now on fire and pinned. Come his turn, which status takes precedence?
I think the fire
The
does.
fire gets resolved first, and then the pitting will take over. Did I get Warner? If you look on this note card right here, did I get all the pertinent information, or I feel like I'm missing something? Maybe missing a few things.
Must seek cover with that half action. If no cover, must move away from shooter. If in cover, half action only. If they're in cover relative to the attacker, they may not leave it except to retreat, provided that they can remain in cover while doing so.
And then how do you come out of pinning? It's
Willpower test.
just straight willpower, or willpower minus 20?
Minus 20.
Willpower
A hard
minus
20 pinning test.
Straight
This
pinning.
is a willpower test. On a success, the character may act normally.
Unfortunately, the orcs get that, like, plus whatever willpower for each enemy around or friendly around them, don't they?
I'm actually looking. I gotta see what that talent is.
But Warner, while he's looking, it occurred to me, if I set an enemy on fire and it passes their toughness and they pass out, my weapon actually could help us to capture people.
Orcs grow in confidence and brutality in the company of their own kind. For every additional orc within 10 meters, orcs' willpower is increased by 10 to resist the effects of fear and pinning. So actually, I need to re-roll that pinning.
No, you could just take the rolls.
I
You've got the
can, but
thing.
what it is next round it will be for each of them that minus 20 will be canceled out because each of them will have plus 10 from their neighboring orcs. If that makes sense the way I said it, because I probably just bumbled it. But yeah, I'll let it stand as it is because it'll be easier to kill him.
Well, you've got one of them rolled a 12, which with the bonus means that that guy would have succeeded.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
We can see what your rolls were.
Yeah,
we
that
don't
would have
have to
been this guy.
re-roll. We
Yep.
can just use them.
Yeah, I'm silly. Don't listen to me. I know what I'm doing.
We know.
Okay.
Hey, look, he's got bonuses. He actually succeeded.
And it's actually on the orc's turn now, I believe.
Sorry, Warner. I didn't mean to.
Hold on. Actually, that 68 you rolled was only one shooter of the 5. So you have 4 more.
Oh,
Unless you
sure.
want to. I mean, that's what we were doing
I'll
before.
I'll roll all 4 of them, I guess. They're all doing the same thing.
No, I figured as much. But at least this way, it's a better chance of possibly getting rid of some of them.
Okay. That's not it.
I missed the roll there. What happened?
It was a 90-something, wasn't it? It
80
didn't show up.
88, but it showed up now, unless that was a second roll.
That's weird. Hey, look, a 99.
Wow.
Good thing I'm not rolling on the psyker tables.
Yeah.
Question. Do we want to like homebrew /
Hey, that
workshop?
23 might hit.
Okay.
What was their...
They've got las
thingy
rifles,
again?
so the las rifle notes are over here.
Okay, thank you.
I thought
That doesn't tell me what their ballistic skill is.
Oh. 35.
35. Nope, still doesn't hit because it's a minus 20.
The 23?
Yeah, 23. Oh, it is full auto, so that just cancels
Well,
it. So
hold
yes,
on.
it does
Why
hit.
there's no minus 20?
Wait,
in
no, they
play.
don't have full auto.
They also don't have a minus 20. Unless there's a reason for that. That I'm not
They're
thinking
not
of.
Suppressing fire. The suppressing fire rules is it's a minus 20 because your wildfire is trying to
Oh, gotcha.
suppress
Okay,
them.
I must have missed that part. I got you now. Okay. So you're pinning them. They just aren't getting hit. Is the problem?
Correct.
I got you now. Okay. I
They are
believe you.
successfully pinned. They're just not hit.
Yeah. But you know what? That's fine because that's kind of the point of suppressive fire is to pin them in place, not so much to
Indeed.
anything more than that is gravy. There is one more shooter to shoot.
Oh, one more.
Yeah.
All right. Him no hit either.
No. Okay. Now it is the orc's turn. In order to do anything, well, first we have Orky Boy on fire. He needs to make a. Oh God, what was it?
Willpower.
Willpower minus. No, hold on. Hang on. My mind is not good.
Minus 20 plus 20.
Stand by. 1 second. No, because he's on fire first. So he needs to make a challenging willpower test. That will actually be a plus 20 because of the nearby orcs to act normally. So that will be, I'm going to say 48. That sounds right. I'm not sure. There. 28 plus the 20 for his nearby buddies. So it's 48 willpower. He still fails. So he's going to keep burning as he runs around muttering something about the flames.
Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, that's probably what he's muttering. Burn, baby. He doesn't realize.
This is mildly inconvenient.
That's probably what he's doing. He's like, this is mildly inconvenient, as he attempts to run around at a half-action rate because he can't actually get away. So he's not, like, it's worse because he's pinned, but he's just running in circles at a slow rate of speed.
He's singing hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. Let me take off all my orky clothes.
I am so hot. I'm gonna take my gubbins off.
Meanwhile, the squig on his head is already toasted up.
I'm too burny for my shirt. Too burny for my shirt.
So Bernie, it kinda hurts.
Oh, yeah, only kinda. That's the best part. All right, willpower at a 28 to actually try to get out of this pinning effect. But no, I can't. Actually, I can't even make that roll because he's just too concentrated on the fire. So disregard that.
It could be for the other guy though.
Well, the one guy is already good. He is actually going to, since he doesn't have to worry about all of that, he's gonna throw some auto fire back at you guys. Let me see what his stats are. Did that in a very bad spot because somebody's purple hand was in my way.
Purple hand all in
okay,
your
here we go.
way.
Chain axe, nope. Shoot a S310.
Slanesh, is that you?
So
Acting
single shot.
funny, but
I
I
can
don't
actually
know
shoot
why.
up to 10. So that's plus 20
Excuse
for
me while we shoot this guy.
full auto. No pen. He is going to fire at the. It's the guardsmen that are doing the pinning, right?
Mm.
Reinhardt?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to shoot at the armsman, full auto, targeting initially your sergeant there. So that's going to be a ballistic score of 20 plus 20, so I need 40 or better, or under. Full auto. Oh, that's some bullshit. Anybody watching that roll was watching it go steadily from a 16 to a 96. That is some bullshit, man. God damn it. All right, final orc, needing a 28 flat to break the pinning. Whoops, I didn't mean to click that multiple times. All right, well, he's still pinned, and that is my orky turn. That's actually pretty disappointing. Jace, you're up.
What is this saying? DMs only roll the dice for the clacky sounds the dice make.
You know what? I'm going to find a fucking daemonette to throw at you guys in the next encounter, which might be tonight. So fuck around and find out if you want to.
I really
Fucking
don't.
do it, you won't. I already got a character.
Hold on, fucker. Hold on. I can fit it into the narrative.
I already got another character rolled up. I'm ready. Bring it
He's
on.
like, come on, bring it on, bitch. That's all I heard you say. Hey, you know what I forgot to do was check the range of those shooters. I don't even know if that might have. It doesn't matter because they didn't hit anyway. But let's see, 30. I never put. Oh, 60 meters. Yeah, we're good.
You're fine.
No
Yeah.
modifiers.
It's not like orcs actually aim anyway.
No, but I had a plan, and then two orcs died. One of them got set on fire and was pinned. Another was like my whole plan has been shot to shit. So
I was gonna say that plan involves stick bombs, because I'd be very angry if it involves stick bombs.
Okay, vaulting over the rocks here, coming up here.
what's your full
10.
move range?
10.
Okay. Sounds like that's your extent of your turn.
Yep.
Okay. Icarus. Mr. I don't care, throw a daemon at me. I have a new character ready to go now. What is your turn? Or what is your move, rather?
Let's see how far away this guy.
Are you on here? Oh, what? Meanwhile, Icarus is just like, I'm just chilling literally at the back of the map. I'm still in the deployment area.
Oops,
The
that's
party
7
gets
meters.
wiped, and we all roll orcs that are on the planet.
That's
And
Orcs,
suddenly you have
orcs, orcs.
suddenly you have an orc freebooter party.
It's an orc campaign now.
2.
We're playing
Okay.
Fight the Stupid Humies.
I'm gonna semi-auto at the guy in the middle.
Okay. What is your target number?
4.
Semi-auto
40.
gives you +10. Full action. There are no additional modifiers in play that I'm aware of, unless you want to throw a fate point on there.
I will throw a fate point on there to make it 66.
Nice. That is a 93. Would you
Yeah,
like to
that's
fate
a
point
feeling-
that?
Sure, why not?
What's your Alterius? What's your base ballistic skill?
46.
Okay, just checking.
That is you said 66, so yeah, 4 degrees of success. That means 3 shots hit the initial +2.
All right.
So the initial one is obviously going to go on the guy in the middle. What's the pen? Or you got one of those hell guns or something with like 7 pen, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So armor negated. Go ahead and hit me with that. What is it? 2d10 plus 87 or some shit.
No.
1d10 plus 4.
Okay, 1d10 plus 4.
Be right back.
Yep. All right, that is 1 point taken off because of his toughness. All right, you have 2 additional shots. They don't have to go on the same person. In fact, you could probably kill this guy. Well, maybe kill, depending on your damage roll. You could also hit this guy, or you could put all 3 shots on the same dude. It's up to you.
I'll put all 3 shots on the same dude because he's looking the most lucid.
He's looking like to be the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Okay.
He shot at us. You shoot him back.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. What is it? +5?
Plus 4.
Plus
So
4.
11.
So 3 more. Go ahead. 9 minus 1.
9. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. All right. That will take us up to Jeff the Chef. That is being currently controlled by, I believe, Rev.
I can't.
A
continue
certain
to-
Lord Captain.
Just standing out there. I don't need your cover. Let him shoot. Let him shoot.
need no cover, Lord Captain. I just got my big scattergun.
Remind me his range.
I'm gonna say 35.
It's on. It might be on the sheet.
It's on his
Or-
sheet.
40.
It is 40 meters.
So yeah, they're within range
Yep.
of his,
Yep.
his naval gun. And does he have a burst? I think he does have the burst.
He has on that bad boy single shot and up to 3 for semi-auto. God
Right.
damn, 2d10 plus 4, 0 pen. That's the problem.
But he's only got 38 ballistic.
Yes.
Yeah. That 0 pen means anyone wearing armor is just gonna kind of shrug off most of what he's
Well,
doing.
they'll shrug off some of it. That 2d10 plus 4 is still a big number, potentially.
Well, since he's buying me and emulating my behavior to some degree,
Yes.
I would assume.
Yes,
at this
yes.
point, like that's what we're rolling with. He's like, I see the Lord Captain. I do what the Lord Captain does.
Follow you anywhere, boss. Except we're in
Um,
little itty bitty places.
So, he too will. Oh, I hate to do that, but I've just said he's emulating the Lord Captain.
He's gonna shoot the Bernie boy.
Yeah.
The guy that has literally 1 hit point left, I think.
I mean, Jeff isn't a strategist. He's just
No,
he's
Jeff is.
he's-
Listen, you guys brought him out here for 2 reasons.
That's why I gave a heavy sigh and said he wouldn't actually shoot the guy that shot at them. He'd
No,
shot the
you're
same thing
being-
the Lord
you're
Captain
being
would.
very in character. You should be proud of yourself.
Yep, you guys brought Jeff
But I
along
want
for
a meta.
You brought Jeff out for 2 reasons: to kill shit and to bring food.
To be fair, though, if he kills the other guy with a burst, the other guy's in range. So
Yeah.
I'm giving him a fate point.
So are you giving him the +10 as well? So that's a +20, plus
No,
30
no.
with semi.
I gave Jace the +10. I don't think he's taken it yet.
Well, Jason
no,
only moved.
you gave the +10 to the group earlier.
I didn't think I could technically do that.
You can't.
But if you
well,
didn't, Omar, if he didn't take
It was established last session that you
that
can't.
does sound right. Yeah, that sounds right. But you can give it to that second group because they are, I believe, either next or shortly.
Okay, it goes to the group of shooters.
So you're giving Jeff the
I'm
Chef
just giving
10.
him just a +10,
And
And
then
he's
another
already
plus
getting the-
10 for semi-auto,
burst.
correct?
Yeah.
So that's 58, I believe.
Yeah. Watch it miss completely on a voice in my face die. Fate die.
Wow. 90.
Yeah, I'm not re-rolling that.
Okay.
Those are feeling pretty high today.
Yeah, they are. It's disturbingly high. Or disturbingly repetitively high. Alright. Jeff shoots. Misses. Winter is up. That's also being controlled by Rev, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Winter
she-
is already
Go ahead.
up against the rock wall. And she doesn't need to do any checks to hold that in place because it's an automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But there are stipulations about having multiple powers active at the same time. I
Oh, no,
don't
I'm
recall
not-
specifically
I'm
what
not.
they are.
I'm not activating a multiple power. I'm just sprinting onto cover here.
I'll work with that. Whatever the distance is, we can hand wave it because that's just what she does this round. All right, Orc
Oh,
Squad
that's-
2 is dead.
It's within her distance, even if you add a meter on for the rocks.
Yeah. And then the other squad.
But she does need a -20 for them being able to hit her with ranged.
Did she do the sprint range
Yes.
or whatever, or was it just
Used her-
full action move?
Full action to sprint.
Okay, that's you. You took 2 items and slammed it into one. I need to know if it's one or the other.
She sprinted. I
Okay,
said.
Thank you.
I'm saying
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be difficult.
Her entire turn was used to sprint.
Well, that's a
because
full
it's-
action. What is her
Run.
full action?
It's a full. That would be a full action run.
Right.
And
There's
I-
full
I
action
spec-
movement, and then there's the full action sprint.
On our movement table, it's specified as run or sprint. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, I'll put that in there. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, the second squad is up. That's what I was gonna say. These guys, and I believe that's controlled by Jace.
And apparently they have a +10. So
Yeah. Jace, what are they doing? Is he muted? Is he frozen? Is he not there? Is my connection shitting out on me all of a sudden?
I can.
No, I can still hear you.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
Jace can.
Oh, he must be AFK because he put a different screen up instead of his face.
Oh.
I'm still here. I'm just not at the computer.
Gotcha. Okay. You're up with the second squad of troopers.
If you were
Okay, and they're getting the +10.
Yes. Oops.
All right. I am back at the computer.
Excellent.
So they are going to fire regularly with what's this assault las gun?
Something that they don't have yet.
Okay.
I am making a note of it for
Burst
Reasons.
fire.
And I'll tell you what those reasons are after this combat, because we've been screwing something up.
Okay.
You ask a stupid person, an assault lasgun is a lasgun that's painted black and looks like an AR-15.
it probably has. It probably has a tactical grip on it.
It's tactical.
Tactical grip and/or collapsible stock.
It's got those.
Anyway.
It's got those jaggedy bits toward the front.
You mean
Anyway,
the Picatinny reel system?
Firing in burst mode.
I'm quite
Sorry.
aware what Picatinny is, but I was also using what someone.
Anyway, firing
Yeah.
in burst mode.
Plus 10. Plus 20,
So
actually.
yeah, that's plus
Well,
20.
it's plus 10
They
for the
don't have-
semi-auto, and it's plus 10 again for the Lord Captain.
Yes.
So net plus
Okay.
20 so
Okay.
far.
And their base is 35.
Sounds right.
Let's look.
Ballistics is 35.
Yes.
So 55.
35.
I
So
posted a picture
55
of the
so far.
Zoom chat of what the assault las gun looks like.
Am
'Cause there
I?
was a picture in the book.
I believe you said we couldn't stack the edge on the group with the Lord Captain's bonus.
I think I made that stipulation because I was allowing either the +10 fate before the roll, or the +10 from the rogue trader. Like you couldn't use both of them on the same squad in the same round.
No stacking.
Yes,
Right.
correct. Your no stack question is correct.
So
Which is not to say you couldn't use the Lord Captain's +10 and then a fate point to re-roll, because that's not stacking.
Correct.
right. So it sounds like I'm just at 55.
Yep. And if you're doing the semi-auto, probably the best, well, in my opinion, the course of action would be to shoot this guy first, additional shots here, then here. But that's
Yep.
entirely up to you.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Center guy first.
Yep.
Go ahead and make your rolls. And they are all. This is going to be amazing because there's going to be like 17 lasers, and not one of them are going to really do anything.
55.
Correct.
You are useless, Razor Baldwin. That wasn't very funny, but
Oof.
Well, that one missed.
All right, that's 1 of 5. That one is 2 of 5 that have missed. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Oh, there's a hit
That one hit.
with 4 degrees of success.
So
For that'll be the individual hit plus 2 additional hits. So 3 shots
right.
total. And then I need a die really quick here. That was number 3. And then I want to change the color of this. I'm going to change it to blue. Not blue. Oh.
And it looks like none of them did any damage.
What's the damage on the las rifle? I don't recall off the top of my head.
D10 plus 3.
So, 4. Nope.
7, 6, and 4.
That would be correct. So that was number 3. Number 4 is up. It's miss. And then number 5.
That's a hit.
All right.
With how many degrees?
That is 3 degrees of success. So 1 shot plus 1 shot.
Yep. Damn.
Okay, the
Well,
one
I
the
got
one
a
definitely
10
won't do
on
anything.
one.
7 plus 3 is 10. What was the
Pen is 0.
let's see, 10, or excuse me, a roll
So
of
it's
21 is
still
a
not gonna do
12.
anything.
Right arm. That is just to see. Right arm has 2 armor, which
Got
will
8
eat.
toughness,
Yeah,
4
that's
stone.
unfortunately that's not gonna be enough to get through. Just barely cancels out.
Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
And
the
was
orc is
that
like,
all 5?
and
That
yes,
was all 5.
that was the 5th one. So yeah, that orc is like, hey, that tickled a bit. And by tickle, I mean, listen, obviously I'm not sounding very orcish, but you get the idea. That tickled a bit, I think is just all he says. Reinhardt, you're up. As we go to
Excellent.
the next round.
it's time to shoot people.
Arguably, everybody's been doing that, but please
let's
show them
shoot
how
the
it's
one,
done, Arch Militant.
Let's shoot the one that's not suppressed,
Okay.
because he looks like he's still doing things.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
I think, hey, that's a good time to make him not do anything. So at a 39, I have
6 degrees
let's
or
see,
5 degrees of success? 4 degrees?
yeah, 5 degrees
Okay.
of success,
So that's,
which is
3
enough
hits?
for the 3 hits on the Hellgun. Yeah.
And all of these have penetration that negates armor, correct?
Correct.
All right.
So it's 1d10 plus 6. Let me start to roll that beautiful bean footage.
Nice callback.
That's
2
gonna
plus
be not enough.
Yeah, because
That's
that's 2
8.
plus. That's just so 2 is the minimum number, or 3 is the minimum number to inflict damage. Is what I'm hearing.
Well, now we know.
well,
So that's 15.
Yep. Minus 8 is going to be 7 damage. So that will. Are you putting them all on the same dude in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
There's your minimum damage for 1.
So 3 plus what is it? 5?
3 plus 6.
3 plus
That's
6.
9.
Sorry, which is
Minus
9.
8
Minus
is
8 is
1.
1. Yep. Okay, I get it now. Okay.
Now for the plasma.
Yep. Which is also
1d10
pen.
plus 7.
1d10 plus 7. Ridiculous amount of pen.
6 pen.
Armor negated. So 1d. This is why I said that because I can't
Yes.
remember what you just said for pen. The plus 7.
Yes.
Sorry.
So that's
Short-term memory.
14.
He's
Minus
dead.
8 is 6.
Yeah. The guy in the middle's dead. You have 2 additional
Okay.
shots, I believe.
That was the first shot on the plasma, yes?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So you still
Okay.
have 2 rounds left.
I
Plasma.
have 5 rounds in total with the plasma. So I have 4 rounds left.
Oh, was the plasma in full auto?
The hell gun is semi, the plasma is full. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. That means that you're right. So yeah, 4 more shots. Go ahead and
Okay. We're gonna go with the
Bernie
not
or not
on-fire
Bernie?
one. Not Bernie,
Okay.
because I can make tactical decisions, unlike Jeff.
yes, you can.
Hey, 2 actually does 1 damage on this, because 2 plus 7 is 9.
9 minus 1 is 8. That takes him to a new number. All right.
A new number. 9 plus 7 is
It's
16.
So that's going to change
Minus
it to a different
8
new number.
is 8.
Every time we drop the phrase Bernie, I'm really tempted to do a Bernie Sanders impersonation.
I'm just picturing him with his mittens.
I'm asking once again for more gubbins. And there's the 1. There's the 1. And I've got 1 more shot. So that 1, he tanked that full plasma shot
yeah, he did.
with his toughness alone. And there's an 8. So that's 15.
15 minus 8
8.
is 7.
7.
And just enough damage for him to also go down. And then we have Mr. Bernie Unpinned guy. And
You satisfied you
I've been
freaking
here.
greenskins! Get your kraken fucking schmecken.
Lord Captain, you're up.
Oh, he doesn't have any shots left? Oh, okay.
No, as everybody looks up from their magazines, their crossword puzzles, or their Sudoku, he's done, guys.
I'm turning the newspaper page.
Now Reinhardt sits down and picks up his Sudoku. I can't even say it.
Sudoku.
Yes, that.
Sudoku.
It's Sudoku, you uncultured swine.
Yes.
Uncultured swine.
Oh, I can turn my video back on.
Brogadillo, you're up.
I am. So, anyways, I started blasting.
That's pretty much what I expected. The guy is down to let's see, I think 1 hit point, literally. Nope,
We're-
8. He's down to 8 hit points. Or wounds, or whatever this game system uses.
Just
The
gotta get.
stuff.
Just gotta get under a 69.
Nice. There you go, 4 degrees of success.
That means I'm getting 2 shots on everything. So-
1 plus 2. So 3.
I thought you just said that the 2 men it only fired 2 shots.
If it can only do up to 2, then yes.
Yes, both my weapons can only do up to 2.
In that case, yeah. Go ahead and this is the
I'm firing the plasma first.
yeah, and then the other one is the bolter, so they both have more than plus 2 pen.
Yes.
So 2 plus something minus 8.
So that's going to be I need to really memorize that plus. I've got 2 different. So it's both is plus 6, so it's an 8 damage and a 10 damage.
So 8 damage gets negated, and then there's 2 left over on the second one. Okay.
Did he take damage from the fire, or would he? Oh, that's right, he didn't.
That gets actuated on his turn.
Right. No, I was just curious. Anyway,
I shouldn't say actuate. I should say resolve, but that was the 2
Right.
shots from the plasma, both, right?
mhm.
And then you
Right.
have the.
Then we'll do the first shot from the bolter,
Yep.
Then we'll do the first shot from the bolter,
Yep.
which is going to be +5.
So 8
if-
plus
if
5 is
memory serves.
13, minus 8 is 5, and that is not yet enough to kill him. Okay.
Can we inflict extra burning? I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, not really. He's already on. Listen, it's smelling like burnt mushrooms out here.
I feel I need.
Actually,
I
you guys are wearing rebreathers. You probably wouldn't smell it right away.
I want to check on.
Well,
something
I
on
wouldn't
something.
say burnt mushrooms because he keeps soaking it.
This is
Yeah.
true. They're more like
So,
heated mushrooms.
Cooked
It's
mushroom.
it's a
heated.
searing.
Yeah, there you go. It's all right. Go ahead and roll your second bolter
nice
round.
and evenly cooked.
Roiled.
6 plus 5 is 11, minus 8 is 3. That will do enough to kill him. Yay! Orcs are dead.
Orcs are dead.
Yep. All right. So, with the orcs being dead, you guys have a moment to figure out what you want to do next. You are in effectively some sort of desertish environment. Blowing sand, wind, articulate matter, clogging everything, including your rebreathers, which for the moment seem like they're going to last, they'll probably last several hours before you need to worry about changing out filters or anything like that. Let me go ahead and change this table.
How close to the settlement / what we think is the orc encampment would we have been roughly?
The orc encampment itself. I'm not giving that much thought, to be honest with you.
I'm assuming they're based around the abandoned city.
Correct.
Or are they sort of off on their own because orcs like to build their own camps?
Darn right, the boys is based.
Give me a moment here. Let me change things up a little bit. Guys. All right. I realize we're looking at something totally different now. Do you guys see the image on the table now?
It is
Yes.
a little
Yeah.
blurry.
Looks
Yes,
kind of like
it-
a labyrinth with a thing in the middle.
Yes. Yeah. And I realize it's blurry, probably because the image doesn't fit the table. Like,
Oh
So
no!
long as
I'm floating in
David Bowie
space!
doesn't take Jennifer Connelly's baby brother, we're fine.
I was wondering if that was gonna ever come up. Yeah, let's go. You can leave your individual characters on wherever, but you guys are effectively on the edge. Let's say somewhere like over here.
One step closer to the edge.
Yep. I'm trying to get all these extra dice and shit off here.
So the orc patrol was on the edge of the abandoned city.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, narratively, you guys have probably moved closer to the
Xenos monolith.
the city or
I
what
was-
have you. The orcs, let's assume if you were moving towards the northwest,
This is the worst labyrinth ever.
it's not an actual labyrinth. It's meant to represent like ruins. If you recall from the initial description, think of places like Mogadishu as seen in Black Hawk Down, and how labyrinthine that sort of setting can be to maneuver through. Except now also add in all sorts of blowing sand, thousands of years of erosion and things fading away over time and being buried and whatnot. And now you're stuck with this sort of thing. Your
As
general
long as you can
movement,
promise me there's no children with AK-47s, we're good.
no promises.
Well,
Ah, God
orcs
damn it.
can be fully grown orcs can be a few days old, so technically children.
Yes. To answer the question about the orc encampment and everything, the one or two that fled, they moved generally north, but it's hard to tell if they stayed north or if they veered or whatever, because blowing sand and all of that. This is, by the way, you don't actually have to do an actual maze like you're sitting at Denny's waiting for your food.
I'm just pointing out that it's a pretty bad labyrinth.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
The two things that I would do as Lord Commander
Uh-huh.
is one, if we saw the orcs running north, what direction is the crystalline structure from the location? Is it
For
as
you
the
guys,
map
it would
shows?
be something west northwest-ish.
Okay.
Not to
I
put.
would
There's a nautical pun in here if you look carefully, but not to put too fine a point on it.
well,
Nobody knows it, huh? Nobody got it?
Sorry, I'm not a seaman.
Not anymore. I'm sorry, that
Correct.
was really bad. Oh boy.
Technically, he was a sperm.
That's a fair point also, but I digress.
I believe the life cycle is backwards. I think you should die first and get that out of the way.
Oh, Mark, could you promote me?
Are you struggling to do something on the board here?
Yes.
I literally almost kicked you because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing.
Promotion.
So yeah, so after the firefight, the crystalline structure tower is, best as you could tell, somewhere roughly northwest. The orcs ran off something close to northish. It's hard to tell. You could try to track them if you really wanted to, but also who knows what kind of encampment or base
I don't
they
have any interest in tracking them. However, orcs tend to run towards gunfire. So rather than move on a straight direction northwest, I suggest we move to the west a bit, then head north, so that we're not coming in from the angle that we were before, and thus orcs running toward the sound of gunfire will not encounter us.
Okay. I will take, as a team, navigation, survival, and awareness.
What about tracking? I've got that.
What are you trying to track?
I don't know. Orcs?
Oh well, I mean, if so, Mike. Oh, so let me rephrase that. In order to get from where you are to the crystalline structure without becoming terribly lost, because after a while it's hard to see even which direction the structure itself is, because close to big thing, but lots of things closer to you. If that makes any sense. Like I'm just picturing like trying to maneuver through downtown Paris with all the back alleys and shit, and trying to keep an eye on where the Eiffel Tower is in relation to me. Does that
I
make
thought
sense?
we were still outside the city when we encountered the orcs. I'm saying from where we encountered the orcs, move westerly, even if
Yes.
it's not something that you had planned. Another encounter is not what you had planned for us. To reduce our chances of an encounter before we even enter the city, come into the city from a different direction, so that if orcs come running out of the city, they're running to the wrong place.
Right. So what I am suggesting, or what I'm asking for, is rolls to get from the southern-ish, like so basically you were coming in. Let's say initially you were gonna come in something like here. Hang on. Right? And now you want to come in more like here?
Now, before you said we hadn't had our several-hour check-in for the day. When the ship does come in, I'm going to be asking for essentially a brief navigational assistance in directing us on the most open path they can see through the city from the air. Not necessarily constant direction, but like head for from your current position, Lord Commander, head approximately north-northwest.
Okay, let's
something to that degree. Essentially temporary navigational assistance, so that if we are failing our navigation or survival check, the shuttle will put us essentially on the right path.
So let's do this. Let's assume
I was actually already going to have the group do that, but you keep beating me. You keep not letting me finish what I was trying the group to do.
Yes, because I think we're
beating him.
We're both
Excellent.
we're both trying to get down effectively the same path. We're just at different points on that path, I think. So here's what I am going to throw. Let's just, unless anybody has anything specific they want to do, let's assume you guys are now at effectively the city limits, for lack of a better thing to call it. You now need to navigate, figure out which way to go to get through the city to the center, which is where the structure is. Would you like overhead flyby to get a general bearing, or do you want to hold that for when you get lost and confused later? If you get lost and confused, I should say.
I think more just as a general guidance to keep us on track, and if I don't know what level of technology or weaponry that orcs have, but obviously if there's a threat, don't risk the assets for basic navigation. Also, will swim help in this situation?
No.
Okay.
There is not a drop of water anywhere.
That was sarcasm.
Yes,
have awareness.
Awareness. So what I'm thinking is first an awareness roll from anybody. to get a general bearing of which way you need to go.
I have an awareness,
Awareness?
and my perception's 45.
Is your awareness basic or trained?
Trained.
My awareness is trained, but it's
As is mine.
Isn't
Not
awareness
great.
a basic
Mine
skill
is
though?
trained.
It is.
Like you
and
like you
perception is
get that at
46.
full. You get that at the full level initially, correct?
So-
basic is not it. Basic
Basic
means
is
you
half.
can roll it in half.
Oh, I must be misunderstanding myself. Okay, never mind. Go
So
ahead.
so anyone who had like everyone can roll basic skills even if they don't have it trained. They just
right,
take half.
they have to do half if it's
if
not
it's an
trained.
advanced
I
skill, they
gotcha.
don't get it at all.
Yeah.
I
think I
assumed
was.
you knew Alterios. I was just trying to check. So I guess my question: who has trained awareness with the highest perception? Mine is probably not going to be the highest at 36.
I'm gonna laugh.
I
at
have
this.
46.
Wonder what Jeff has. I never gave him a full, but I do have a perception of 30. So
I thankfully have better perception than the Ogren.
Then Jeffin the Chefin.
yeah, at some point, obviously, like maybe like an hour after the firefight, Jeff is definitely like, "I'm hungry, boss. We need to stop and eat. I got pocket sandwiches for everyone."
I think Jace has me beat by 1 point. So
Yeah, that and I'm willing to spend a fate point to raise it by another 10.
It seems like Jace, by
Not
the way, has
only-
all the fate points.
And can I get a boost from our captain?
In this case, no.
You said yours is 46.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
here, hold on. Before you do that, before
Well,
you
56 after the fate point.
Are we getting any sort of from Winter? Are we getting any sort of psychic signature, like any kind of thing
That's
that
a
she can perceive?
great question. I
off
didn't
of this
even open
crystal
her
tower?
character sheet. Let me see something really quick.
Well, she just like it's more of a what's coming off the tower. If
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has any
No,
sort
no.
of-
That was actually a really good question.
Signiscience.
That's a
I
great
think she does to make a
skill
test
for her to
that.
roll too. Let's see.
Hi,
Trained
Stephanie.
3.
'cause she has trained significance,
Yeah.
obviously.
Do you have her sheet open? Oh, she's got
I
4
do.
fate points. 6 with a plus 10 from a fate point, she needs to roll 63. That is a 5. What is the question you would like to ask of her?
More so, still navigational wise,
Mhm.
direction, and does she feel any threat coming from? Like, obviously, it's going to be limited. Like,
I think what you get is something like this. You guys stop for a moment to kind of catch your breath, maybe take a swig of water, look around, get your bearing, and Winter
Have some
stops
pocket
for about
sandwiches.
30 seconds, and then she suddenly starts kind of leaving and moving in a general direction.
Winter,
Yeah,
what
is
is
she
it?
supposed to
her.
do that?
This way. I think it's this way. I'm pretty sure it's this way.
All right. Weapons at the ready.
I put my-
Following the
I
psychic
guess I
lady.
don't need to.
Yeah,
I
hold
don't
off on that roll.
Spend a fate.
I fold my plasteel plate back up, put my silver cutlery back in the pouch, and stop eating my pocket sandwich.
I'm laughing so hard, I don't even know what you're saying, but I'm totally picturing the on-the-ground version of place your seats and seat back trays in the upright position, and that's what Borgadillo is doing in the field right now.
No, I found a rock of some kind. I'm leaning up against it. I have essentially a plastic metal composite plate that when you press in a certain place, it compacts into a tiny square. And I've been eating a sandwich with a silver knife and fork. I put the knife and fork back in a pouch and fold the plate up and probably toss what's left of the sandwich on the ground.
Oh, Jeff is going to be upset because you absolutely were eating one of his pocket sandwiches that you just tossed 40% of it onto the ground.
I don't have a food pouch.
Look at my little thing. Now I could have wrapped that and saved it for later.
My apologies, Jeff.
He just shakes his head at you as he trudges off after the psyker. Then says something about, here I am following a weird psyker lady.
To trudge.
Yeah.
I am keeping my weapons out
Okay.
and an eye on the environment, because it seems like our psyker lady is leading the way but isn't entirely there.
I press the button and fold up my camper and say, and this is what passes for glamping these days.
He said camper. What the fuck?
He said glamping.
Yeah, no. And he
would
said
be
it in a
possible-
disapproving tone. That was the best part. What were you saying, Alterios?
Would it be possible to have my servo skulls hover quite a ways up,
I
following
don't
us?
know. I don't know what the game says for range and shit like that, but yes, I say yes.
Just to like, if we
I
didn't
feel
make
like
an
they can
awareness
get,
check,
like-
I could get like a +10 or something.
Sir-
Servo
like
skulls
you-
can reach quite a height.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like, especially yours in particular, can definitely get like a 10 to 15 foot range from you and help guide you.
His servo motors are custom.
I'm sure they could do more if we thought about it harder. I'm just gonna say, easily get like a 10 or 15 foot range to give you additional awareness around you.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
I've just had a thought. I'm going to send you a message, Alterios.
Um,
Dangerous
with you
business
guys
thinking.
following the Psyker and the fact that she scored a single digit success, go ahead and make a navigation +20. Land navigation, obviously. Some of that +20 includes Alterios's, Icarus's servo buddies.
I can't make land navigation unless you want me to. Oh, I actually can't. Never mind.
Well,
I
actually-
have navigation trained, but I think it's in space.
It's probably for space, because navigation is I'm pretty sure navigation is one of those skills that you have to specify what.
Well, technically, our highest survival slash not survival. Our highest awareness slash perception actually is winter.
Navigation is intellect, though. And if she doesn't have it, she can't roll it.
I know, but I was just saying that, like, we were discussing awareness and perception. So
If we don't
They're
have
different.
anybody, well, Reinhardt, you've got military stuff. Don't you have some sort of land navigation training?
Nope.
All right. In your case, if you make the roll, I will take.
I have tracking, which is also int.
Give me.
anyone who can track is familiar with basic land nav.
Yeah. Give me your tracking, but a -10 net.
Minus
hold on, let me think about that for a second.
net.
Hold on, because I was gonna give you a +20. So yeah, tracking +10 net.
Okay.
Because you're not necessarily tracking a thing, but you have psyker guidance, you have servo skull guidance, and you have a general idea of where you're going. So it's just a matter of, don't turn left too many times. Make sure you do a right turn every now and again, sort of thing.
All right.
Also known as dead reckoning in the woods. What are we looking
Dead
like
is
here?
right. 58.
Versus-
So
What was your?
my int is 31 plus 10 is 41, so that's still a fail.
Fate point it?
I'll fate point it.
Okay. Much better. 17?
Hey,
Yeah.
yes, we'll take that.
All right. As a collaborative group effort, you find this cubicle-ish structure in the center of the town, city, whatever it is, with this gigantic crystalline thingy sticking out the top of it. Let me find my notes for exactly what it says here. So yeah, the crystalline structure definitely does have that appearance that you see in the image, where you have like the central chamber and then this crystalline tower-ish sticking out the top of it. When you step inside, two things happen. First thing that happens is Jeff the chef, he says, "It's dark in there, boss. I'm not going in there. I'll stay out here and pull some guard, maybe take some of them guardsmen with me. I'm not going in there, no, sir. All respect and all."
Something tells me there isn't much respect in his all respect.
No, there's something a little bit closer to keeping his dumbass alive. If anybody would like to make a, let's see, Common Lore Imperium, or Awareness -10.
Common Lore Imperial Navy.
Do you have Imperium? You know what? Common Lore Imperial,
No.
maybe -10. If you have Imperium,
Okay.
it'll be 0. Actually, if you have an Imperium, it'll be +10. Your Navy it'll be 0. Awareness -10.
Okay. Awareness -10.
Correct. And this could be for anybody. Anybody that witnesses Jeff being like, in the Ogren version of, with all due respect, I'm not going in there. It's dark.
I've got Imperial Guard, Common Lore. That
Yes, +10.
Okay, sweet.
So sorry, I was distracted with a message. What sort of check are we doing?
Common Lore, Imperium, Imperial Navy, Imperial Guard, what have you.
But for what is the situation?
I failed.
Okay, you've made it to where you're trying to get to, and the first thing that happens is Jeff is like, I'm not going in there. It's dark. I'm scared.
So we're trying to do a motivation, or essentially kind of a motivation.
The reason for the roll is to figure out why Jeff is like, I'm not going in there.
Okay.
And Warner, that's a bad roll, I think.
It
Well,
is.
I have Common Lore Imperium trained.
Okay. Common Lore Imperium +10, please.
That's a fellowship roll, or no? It's a
No,
int
it's
roll.
an
It should be
int.
intelligence.
I was looking at the wrong thing. I've got a fairly narrow window that I've got the book in. So, all right. Why did that not roll? Oh, that's right. You have to click on the white button.
There you go.
You turn and look at Jeff and realize Okran don't like going into dark, particularly small, dark spaces. It's dark in there, boss. And the actual talent or trait or whatever is actually, it's dark in there. From Only War.
So Jeff may not like going in small dark places.
No.
But Ogrim are used Imperium wide as miners.
Sure. But if you roll an Only War Ogren character, one of their talents or traits or whatever the fuck you want to call it is it's dark in there. Meaning you usually have to give basically you usually have to give them like a command roll to make them go into places like that.
Well, I would do it more in the form of
I will remove knuckle bones if you don't go in there.
No, I would do it.
Sorry.
No, that's not Borgadillo's style.
No, I know. He's not an enemy.
He's not an enemy, exactly. He's not a sadist to his staff.
Okay. He did say he would stand out here with some of the guardsmen and pull guard while you guys go inside and do whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah, are we at the outskirts of the city?
No, you're standing in front of. Oops.
Okay.
You're standing in front of the actual building.
Is there anything from the city or the building that I could glean from a check on Forbidden Xenos lore?
If you want to make a roll, absolutely, but make the roll and then tell me what you're looking for.
Okay, well, I'm just wanting to see what I can learn from our surroundings as we pass through. Depending on my level of success, it can depend on what you tell us.
Yeah, that works. What is this, like common lore or not common lore, but uncommon lore, whatever the fuck it is? Xenos.
It's forbidden lore.
Forbidden lore Xenos. Yeah.
Oh, I've got that.
I will say that you haven't seen anything in particular standing out other than you're in a bunch of ruins. So
do you want us to roll an awareness first to see what we see?
You can roll if you want more detailed information about what you're in, sure.
Well,
but
more particularly, as we're approaching this crystal tower, I'm looking for any sort of background information, knowledge on the alien civilization, because that would not exactly be something that the Imperium would let know, but
Yeah,
with
yeah.
forbidden.
If you want to make a roll,
with
I'm not going to
forbidden
stop
Xenos.
you.
Okay. I don't think I succeeded.
Nope, that does not look like a success.
This is the Forbidden Lord Xenos,
Correct.
and that's a int 43 trained. Whoops.
Ooh.
5.
Okay. You see some, like, I want to say runes, but you see, like, some carvings. You see a little bit of, like, busted up pottery or something like that. And you know that this once was a major city within the Agarian domain. I'm going to spell that for you in the TTS chat here. I'm sorry, Agarian Dominion. In TTS chat is the spelling of that. And that this was thousands of years ago. This was a alien civilization that, if I'm not mistaken, and this is literally like if I, the player, can't remember, I believe they had actually had a presence on multiple worlds, but then eventually they more or less killed themselves off.
So thousands. So during the heresy era.
Thousands, not necessarily a dozen or 10,000 years ago. Just sometime in 1,000 years ago, this domain or dominion lived out here, covering a small number of worlds. And by small, we're like, you know, a handful.
Right.
And then something happened and they died out. It could also
Okay.
been, I mean, nobody knows for sure, but it's also arguably plausible that maybe part of what caused them to die out was the Imperium of Man. Or orcs, or some other calamity. Or maybe
Orcs
even,
are a calamity.
or the fact that this sun is now a pulsar, and maybe once upon a time it wasn't always a pulsar. Who knows? But you get some indicators of that this was indeed an actual civilization at one point in time, other than the obvious that, you know, you're walking through a dead city. You
Yeah.
actually see, like, signs of intelligent life beyond the fact that you're walking through a dead city. It's not just blank
Okay.
walls. You see the actual, some of the carvings and some of the motifs and whatnot.
Any bodies?
No, that's all long gone.
And what about the crystalline structure itself?
Yes. So, are we going inside?
Do I get anything from my forbidden lore about the crystalline structure itself?
Unfortunately, no. Even with such a really good roll, I would be inclined, but you don't get anything until you go inside. It is, like, to the eye, it is an impressive structure. It's this massive, towering crystal, effectively, multifaceted. As you can see in that image, it's basically like a diamond, and there's like a couple of like horns, I guess. I don't know what else to call it, that come up off of it. But like, to the eye, with the crystal itself, despite the wind blown sand and detritus and whatnot, the crystal itself is still fairly sparkly clean for all intents and purposes. It would be easy to imagine that if someone took the time to actually clean off all the dust and grime, that it might actually be this ridiculously radiant structure in the middle of the city. And it's several stories tall. Not necessarily skyscraper, but probably like 10 or 12 stories.
Okay.
Like, it's big. Like, you can obviously see it for a while around you. And the bottom of it does have a temple appearance. Like, it may have been some sort of religious significance. It may have been some other purpose. It's not really sure until you get inside to explore a bit more.
Would Winter's occult lore give her any sort of
Occult
insight?
lore? No. But she is, I think at this point, the only thing keeping her from going inside is you haven't exactly given anybody permission or whatever to go in. Like, and it's like only out of deference that she's not going in already. She's chomping at the bit.
Well, if it's only deference holding her back, then I would not stop her, and I would follow. I would, I am going to do a command as a form of encouragement, and I'm going to say, Jeff, you faced many challenges in the kitchen, overcome many obstacles. I know that you may not like the dark, but the team is at stake. Your crew needs you just as much as they need sustenance. Do you think you could brave those dark?
Make your.
And so-
Are you making like a persuasion, manipulation, some sort of roll?
Well, I was going to technically do it as a command roll, depending on what you want.
Sure.
I could do it as a charm. I could do it as a command.
Whichever one you want to roll with, based on what you're saying there, it's either command or maybe persuade, charm. Because like you're not like giving him a straight, you will. It's like, could you please? So obviously the intent is you will, but you're phrasing it as could you please.
Yes. So let's see. Double checking my. Oh, hey, in that last initiative round, we forgot that I have +2 to initiative because paranoia. Anyway,
Whoops.
let's see. Would Air of Authority? The note I've got up beside it just says 1d10 + 4 extra NPCs on successful command test.
Could you say that last part one more time? I missed
So
it.
my peers are high authority and formal. I don't think Jeff really fits that.
Correct.
There is nobility, and I don't think Jeff fits that. There is also underworld. Would Jeff come from more of an underworld background, or is he strictly?
Underworld implies criminality.
I don't know what sort of background Jeff had.
No,
before he
that's
was hired as
fair.
a chef.
But he has admitted to Imperial Guard time, but now he's not
Okay.
a guardsman. But I don't think any criminality is in his past
So
necessarily.
the only other thing that
Not a
might
penal legion.
No.
the only other thing that might come into play is Air of Authority, but I think that's more for like how many additional NPCs I can affect on command tests.
Right, and you're focusing only on this one. Your guardsmen are going to
Right.
do whatever you tell them to do because that's what they're trained to do.
Okay, I'm just looking because I feel like I should get some kind of bonuses for this, but I guess not.
Well, let's see what you get. Okay, well that's a 20, so that's probably going
That's
to be
a very
success.
persuasive argument.
He's going to attempt to resist with his minimal willpower and absolutely fail. So,
I also have 54 fellowship, so
Yeah.
Ooh.
base.
Yeah. So your 3 degrees of success versus his like 6 degrees of failure. He's going in. In fact, he'll go in and he won't even say anything. He's just like, "All right, you got me. Here I go. I'm going in."
Now, do we want to leave a squad of guardsmen at the entrance to alert us?
The moment you say that, Jeff just kind of turns back towards you, like, and he's not gonna say anything. You've already given him the command or whatever. He's
Jeff,
just giving you that. What do you want? What do you really want me to do? Look, as best as an Orgrim can convey that.
I pull Jeff in close and I say, Jeff, not only are you the one who's going to be feeding us should we be in here for any length of time, but you were prodigious enough to reduce the threat of the orcs. Did you see how badly those guardsmen missed?
Produce? What? I can play
Not
dumb.
use words longer than 2 mouth movements, please.
Good syllable is 3.
I refine my words. Jeff,
Yes, Lord Captain.
you have a frying pan.
I do.
Orcs are technically mushrooms.
Yes, I suppose.
Wouldn't you like to consider expanding your culinary abilities?
Steak and shrooms. Shroom steak. Yes, there we go.
I now have him motivated with food.
Yeah, he's very much a food motivated person.
As he is happily marching along in,
And daydreaming and drooling over steak shrooms.
I turn to Reinhardt and say, I hope you like orc.
I think he likes
Uh,
dead orc.
Yes, but does his extreme dislike?
I've heard of some chapters of Space Marines consuming the flesh of, but I must say that would be new for me.
Hunger for Borger.
uh,
Anyway, we proceed further, but no, I'm less wanting someone there to like more is radio contact to the outside for a relay. You know,
I mean, yeah, you've got these 10 grunts that can just set up a ad hoc perimeter around the facility.
well, more just at,
Yeah.
at an entrance to be like if the navigation ship comes to relay something. I
There
don't know if
goes.
Yeah,
I don't know if the shuttle can radio in all the way, but Winter can also connect us to that squad mentally.
yeah.
And so, unless there's some disrupting force to her significance.
As she walks in, you just hear her gasp. So it sounds like there might be a disruption.
Okay, so we're definitely relying on a radio relay.
It would seem that way at the moment.
I'll
I'm right behind Rodance or Winter.
Okay. Let's
Um,
If you're okay with that, Lord Captain.
Master
Well-
Jace, if actually hold on. I'll actually change it up here. I wanted to involve other characters, but that might not work. Reinhardt, if you would, periodic check-ins with the relay squad to make sure that we can maintain radio contact.
Yeah, Lord Captain, it shall be done.
All right, so who all is actually inside the structure? I know
Everyone
Winter
except for one
is.
squad. Everyone except for one squad of guardsmen. The squad that missed all the shots, the pinning squad, can come with us.
Okay, so I'm gonna put them here. We've got this squad going inside. We've got everybody else also going inside? Question mark?
Yep.
Okay. I need willpower rolls from everybody. And then one willpower roll
Okay.
from representing the entire squad.
I'm gonna give
Um,
a fate point to my willpower.
Well, actually, don't we receive a bonus to willpower from Winter's aura?
The inspire thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you a +10 blanket.
Cool.
Okay, so 45 for the squad.
Okay.
Now,
Oh,
you
Yeah.
say this is a willpower test.
Uh-huh.
Does Jaded protect me from that?
Give me the definition of jaded. Not the word, but the talent.
Unaffected by, doesn't take.
Because it
insanity
has to
from-
do with your internecine conflicts and stuff like that,
I'm going to
right?
re-roll that with a fate point.
Doesn't take insanity from horrors is basically the TLDR,
Okay.
as I recall
This isn't necessarily a
Hey,
horror,
I'll
it's
take
just
that second
something
roll.
alien that is triggering this.
Yeah.
Warner is good.
I am going to re-roll for the squad.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let's do it this way really quick, just so I can keep up. So right now we need the squad. They're gonna re-roll. We have Warner is good. Alturios, I believe you're good. Or Icarus?
Yes, with that +10. Yeah.
Okay, is good. And then we need not Rev. We need Brogadillo, and then Jace, and then Winter.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we have a reroll. So go ahead and do that reroll now for the squad. That looks like they're good.
Yep, they're good.
Okay, Brogadillo.
And
Or sorry, no. Go ahead, Chase.
I need my own, which I am going to willpower 50, 60. I'm going to spend a fate point to make it 70.
How many fate points do you have left after that?
3,
How many fate points do you start with?
7.
5.
Jesus. that's good. All right, Brigadier, and then I'll do winner.
That is a lot of fate points.
It is a lot. I believe Brigadier's good. Winner has 54, 64 with her thingy. Ooh, she's gonna fate roll that. Oh, spot on. Okay, everybody's good, which is really good. Not because it was gonna be thinking any horrible thing. It's just it prevents something weird. So when everybody walks in to this room, oh, we didn't do Jeff. Jeff needs to make a willpower roll.
Oh God.
30,
What is his
40?
willpower?
40 with the plus 10.
So 50.
No,
No,
40
it's
is
40.
40
He's-
with the plus 10.
Yeah, so that's a 5 degrees of failure right there.
Does anybody? How weird are we talking?
I'm not attached to the chef, so I'm not.
You're
why
not
I-
attached to
points.
Jeff?
That's why I asked how weird are we talking?
Okay. So let me read this sentence first. When the players reach the Star Mirror Chamber, which is what you have just entered, they are immediately overcome by its grandeur and unsettling alien construction. Imagine walking into a chapel with nothing but stained glass windows all around you, all of that light scintillating and cascading and swirling, except it's not like disco ball swirling. All of this light around you, and you've never experienced this sort of thing before. This experience is entirely and wholly new to you. So
I feel like even if I failed, Jaded would cover that.
possibly, but there's more to come, which is what the willpower roll was needed. It is like standing in the center of a sea of light. You'll be unable to tell where the floor, roof, or walls begin and end. And most disconcerting of all is the air that seems alive with images spinning and dancing all around your heads. So you have another way to explain it in a way that the players would understand it, not necessarily the characters. You have effectively walked into some sort of, imagine a planetarium, but you can't tell which way is up or down because you're effectively hovering or floating in the middle of the presentation. You are the presentation. You see images all around you. People, things, planets, stars. And this is where I need the decision to be made whether or not the Ogren gets a reroll.
I don't have that many fate points to spend. Is Jeff a character that anyone can spend fate points on, or just me? Since I'm technically controlling him right now.
Anybody can. If
Does
you were
anyone
asking
want
me.
does anyone want to spend fate points on Jeff?
I just
I'll-
spent
I'll
2 fate
spend a
points
friend.
for myself and the group.
Okay.
I'll spend a fate point.
Aw, Jeff thanks you. Jeff will remember this. That shows up on your HUD.
I want that pineapple upside down
Oh,
grenade
God
cake
damn it.
for my birthday, dang it.
Well,
That's
Jeff will
higher.
remember this, but he does take, let's see. Fuck, 8 points of insanity.
Oof.
I'm gonna put that on here.
That is a lot. Jesus Christ. What is it like? Isn't it like 20
That'd be
before
the
you start
big
going
oof.
insane?
It's, well, every 10 points you have to do a test. That's not what I want.
And then it's 50 and it's game over?
No, it's a bit higher than that, I think. I remember looking at it, it does go up to around 100 or 150 or something like that, but it progressively gets worse over time.
Yeah.
And it's a value that is stuck with you forever. If you've ever played Call of Cthulhu, for instance.
There
I have
are
not, but I've
supposedly
watched
ways
some
to reduce
videos,
it.
and apparently sanity loss is a big deal. It's not
Yeah.
very easy to get it back. So he doesn't necessarily go absolutely apeshit or anything silly like that. He definitely has the in fact, I'm going to hold off on what his appearance is until afterwards, because I think at this point everybody is mesmerized in trying to make sense of this stuff that they're seeing all around you. And that's what you needed the willpower roll for, by the way, was to see if you can make sense of this, or if you were just going to be
Icarus
something.
puts on a pair of welding goggles.
You're going to end up being, basically, if you failed, you're going to be kind of brain dead, catatonic for a little bit. Not that literally, but, you know, for the moment. As you gaze into the mirror, the images begin to merge and spin until you are engulfed by a sea of stars and planets. Worlds slip through your fingers, and the icy void brushes your skin as you peer like a celestial god across the whole of Magoros. With a little effort, you realize you can move events forward and backward in time, watching the dying star slowly flare back to life and the worlds once more teem with activity. Finally, you find what you are looking for, the arrival of the righteous path. Tumbling from a rend in the void, you mark its passage until it crashes into a cluster of asteroids out among the shard halo. Moving time back to the present, you could see it still, frozen and waiting beneath the ice. You have found a 3D holographic interactive videotape player, and you have been able to rewind and fast forward as needed to figure out where this thing landed and crashed and where you need to go now. Everybody keep up with all that?
Yep.
Yes. Could I
We
make?
just stepped onto a holodeck, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Welcome to Star Trek.
Well,
There's people talking about you know, the Prime Directive and shit. I don't know.
Ugh.
since we have uncovered that, can I make an additional roll?
Sure.
I would like to see if we can find out, if we can see all that, what appeared to end the civilization on this planet.
I have to do some quick Google food. Give me a moment.
No, that's fine.
Quickly!
I'm looking for additional information that might serve as either a barter, well, particular information about the species in particular, that might serve as either a barter or just a favor to a inquisitor who, for example, might wish to collect lore on Xenos species.
Hang on. I am reading. You're not really able to see. In fact, I think the only thing that you can really make sense of with what you're able to with what you're able to do as far as manipulating this historical record is that the activity around the planets dies off very soon after the dying of the star, when the star sheds the majority of its weight and becomes a pulsar.
Oh.
And
So nothing particularly unique.
I mean, nothing
information.
unique to what, you know, like, oh, here comes the orcs and they smashed everything. You know, interstellarly, actually, this sort of thing's probably not terribly unique either in a cosmic scale.
Did any sort of, was with the sun itself, did it appear to die a natural death, or was there any sort of like beam or
It
some
seems
other...
like a natural death. In fact, you
Okay.
can see a few. Oh my god, another night where I have yet another fucking bot coming in here. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck, I hate that shit. Sorry. Every night I've streamed for like 2 or 3 weeks. Every night I've had somebody come in here try to get me to buy viewers. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, it appears to have been a natural death, as far as that is, you know, for stars. There's even, you know, in the moments leading up to it, you know, moments as in sped up timescale, it seems to be some scrambling around the planets of the system, where maybe they tried to fire something into the sun, it didn't work. Maybe they tried to flee the system. But yeah, ultimately what it boils down to is the star did its star dying thing, and it fried most of the planets, and people died off.
can we tell, like, did they flee in a particular? Did any ships flee the system? Did they have faster than light travel? I'm assuming they did if they inhabit multiple
They
systems.
fled in what might otherwise appear to be a slower than light. So like, there's no obvious like warp entries other than the righteous path when it comes out. I don't know what it would look like for the Eldar using the webway or anything else, but for all intents and purposes, when a ship comes in or leaves the system, there's no like flashes of light or anything. It just shows up or it just leaves.
Well, you can see, like, when we travel through the Immaterium, you can see the rift and the warp being opened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see any of that. The only time you do see that is when the righteous path arrives.
Right. Well, and with Eldar ships, I understand it, you basically see them blink. You see them stretch and disappear.
Is that what they? I don't know what they do, but yeah, whatever it is they do for entering and exiting the webway. But even then, you might have gotten like a couple Eldar ships over like 10 million years.
I wasn't really looking for that. I was more
Yeah, well,
looking...
that was my point.
So-
Yeah.
So the only possible piece of information that I could pass on as here's a gift for you is the trajectory of some slower than light ships leaving a system. And
Yeah,
if they
which-
didn't actually make it, if they didn't make it to anywhere else, an inquisitor in Xenos might be interested in knowing in what direction along possibly some long dead Xeno ships could be found.
Yeah, the problem is there's some crucial information missing, specifically when they left. Like you could suggest that this star died on such and such in such and such year, and it looks like this ship left sometime near then, plus or minus 50 years. But that's still a fairly wide open range, even for an STL ship. They went out on this heading, but that doesn't preclude when they stopped, what they got held up by, running into something. Like, you could make that kind of a guess and research.
Yeah, it's a small piece of information
Yeah.
for an inquisitor to add to their library as a show of respect. Not much
Yeah,
more.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm certainly not planning on trying to hunt down a...
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, you've got just enough information for it to be a literal goose chase.
Well, a breadcrumb in case the Inquisitor has
Yes.
other crumbs to attach to it.
Yep. So now you know there is enough information with what you have seen here in collaboration with your fellows that you can kind of get a pretty small chunk of space carved to realize that this is your search pattern. That within this small arc of the Shard Halo is where this thing is going to be. So now you have a much, much, much smaller area to search.
Is the shuttle...
go ahead.
Is there any clearings near the spire itself where the shuttle is able to pick us up directly, or is that too much of a risk?
It's really tough in here. And you've also... And one thing I haven't really brought up is that not all of these ruins are entirely stable. You haven't seen anything collapse, but it is noticeable that some of these ruins have collapsed recently, and by recently, within days, weeks, months.
One other thing, speaking of ruins,
Mm-hmm.
Alterios, you got some sort of rune, and I have forgotten what it does, but I wanted to ask you, what does it do? I don't think it's pertinent to this situation. It was that rune that you picked up on Footfall.
Yeah, and it was a rune that he picked up in a shop, and it was like a +10 on a tech use roll for something, like
Okay.
some sort of repair diagnostic type thing, if I remember right.
Okay.
I don't remember. Let me gotta look it up. Hold on.
I just didn't know if you had it handy, and I couldn't remember what it do.
That's probably under
I didn't think it was related to this alien empire, but I was like, what that rune do?
I think it's more. I think it was more of an omnisciic thing than it was.
I thought it was too. I was
literally
curious.
called it. I literally called it the Mechanicus Rock, and it's +20 to an engineering check
There you go.
Okay.
for a ship
Mechanicus
test.
Rock.
I knew we had an odd item that wasn't
Yeah.
well documented, and I was curious. Anyway.
So you now have enough information to figure out where to go. The safest course of action would be to leave the city and have the shuttle come as close as it can, because it just doesn't look like, if there is a clearing, there's no guarantee that the clearing itself is going to be stable, because you've passed by where things have fallen through or the ground has collapsed and revealed lower levels of the city underneath.
Well, given that the orcs headed north, let's plan on an exfiltration that is southeast of the city, so essentially putting what's left of the city between us and the most likely orc. Sorry, south. You said it was north and we were on the western side, so sorry. That's you. I meant it's on the northeastern side, so we
Yeah,
want to actually go
the orc
southwest.
camp is going to be.
We want to go southwest. I was getting my east and west backwards for a second. I apologize.
I do it a lot as well. So yeah, the orcs are going to be in this general vicinity, and then
I think I didn't know how to read a map.
this line, I assume, is the general course you want to go. Maybe even
No.
more to the south than that.
Like I said, I wanted to go southwest actually. So
Oh, south. Okay,
just
so you
gonna-
did actually mean west. So it'd be more like coming out this way.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Because especially if there was gunfire and orcs that survived, there could be bigger guns awaiting us if we take the same path out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And orcs aren't exactly master strategists retreating in a direction that isn't their actual base.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Let me see what my notes say here.
The next question is, would the other orcs have even allowed that orc to live for running from humies?
I mean, when he ended up being the only one, he may end up being a part of somebody else's meal, but that's something that may or may not happen off screen. Shall we fast forward to back on the Tithes of, or Jesus Christ, I forgot you guys' ship's name. Acheron's Ferry.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something else that you want to attempt to do here.
No.
Would Reinhardt like to attempt to track the orcs down so he can destroy their entire civilization on this planet?
If he
The
thinks
answer
the
is
Lord
yes.
Captain
He would
will
like
let him.
to.
By track down and destroy their entire civilization of the planet, do you mean
Scour.
from orbit?
Unfortunately, you do not have anywhere near enough information or the sensor capability to track it down that well. I was being facetious. Somebody roll me 1d5, please. Or, 1d10 and we'll divide by 2.
What is this?
What is this roll for exactly again?
Just
Like-
roll and I'll tell you. I love how my players are like, why?
I was more asking about who should,
Two.
in order to know who should roll it.
Yeah. No worries. This was simply a roll to see how many days it takes to get from the Magoros Prime to the Shard Halo, and that is a total of 12 days to get to.
Before we even
Go ahead.
approach the Shard Halo, I'm going to be doing as heavy as possible scans to make sure that we're not going to be ambushed.
Scanning what
paranoid.
exactly? So I know what you're
Scanning
looking
the
for.
space around us.
Sure.
Because I have fellowship with Underworld and pirates, I know the sort of places that someone would lie in ambush. So I'm scanning at rocks. I'm scanning near if there's anything remotely resembling debris.
Okay. Let me ask this before we get too much
Shadows of planets, sensor shadows of planets.
You're basically conducting frequent scans along the route between the planet and the Shard Halo, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have you guys do a roll, but before you do that, let's have a scene first because that's not the sheet I want.
Essentially, I am
God damn it.
directing everyone to be incredibly observant since
And
we have
paranoid,
not
yes.
seen. Mhm.
Okay. Probably about the second or third day from leaving the planet, the navigator Anastasia Mercator has sent a message indicating she would like some of your time, Lord Captain. Because one does not simply walk up to the Lord Captain, even if they are the navigator. They at least, unless
Right.
there's a reason. Otherwise,
Reinhardt doesn't know any better. He walks up to the Lord Captain.
Reinhardt is the Lord Captain's bodyguard. He should not be leaving the Lord Captain anywhere. That's the way I've always seen that. Anyways,
Well, I mean, obviously, especially off ship, Reinhardt is the Lord Captain's bodyguard, but on ship he probably has more important duties,
That's true.
particularly pertaining to the training of the squad. And when do they level up, by the way? And
Never.
I'm sure he would be in charge of assigning who was to guard me.
Yes,
Currently.
he would be effectively the captain of the Lord Captain's personal guard, I suppose.
Captain of
any-
the Watch, I believe.
Something like that, yeah. At any rate, Anastasia Mercator would appreciate your some of your time.
In her realm of the ship or mine?
Whichever.
I essentially tell her that unless she requires privacy, I will be on the bridge overseeing our movements to.
That's not the one. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to change the image to something a bit more apropos.
Hey, that's the same color as orcs.
Thought I had a map of the system, but it's fine. She will approach you on the bridge. I have a lot of lines here. Holy crap. Alright. On the bridge, she comes up and she says, Lord Captain, if we could maybe speak over here in this slightly recessed area that's not quite, you know.
I'm assuming that my quarters are.
Oh, did you say
relatively
quarters? I
accessible.
thought you said bridge.
No, I am on the bridge, but when she gestures to speak somewhere more privately,
Yes.
I'm assuming that my office is somewhere and adjacent quarters are somewhere within relative easy access of the bridge itself.
Yeah, I figure if nothing else, you have like a day cabin or something that would be pretty close to the bridge, or maybe your actual on-duty office, so to speak. But yeah, that will definitely work there. Yes, Lord Captain, your personal office would be sufficient for this conversation, I suppose. Less prying ears. As she looks over the bridge crew, knowing that most likely the majority of them would not bother trying to eavesdrop on a conversation between two vastly senior members of the ship's crew.
I say, then by all means. What is her official nobility title?
She's the head navigator of the ship, and she is a member of one of the navigator houses. She doesn't necessarily have a big that's what I'm looking for.
Fancy
here.
title.
Yeah,
So
she doesn't
what
necessarily have a like. She's definitely to some degree a lady, if not necessarily.
So, right. So what house is she with again?
House
Mercator.
Mercator.
I say, then come with me, Lady Mercator, and I extend my elbow.
She will nod, and you will hear the thunk step step, thunk step step, thunk step step of her walking with her staff as she moves to her. She knows where your office is. Obviously.
By the way, extending with my elbow means that I was offering my elbow for her.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you motioned with an arm, not an elbow. She will take your arm out of respect, but it will be a very demure. God, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not. It has zero of the emotional context, and it's all about presence and appearance.
It was merely meant as a gesture of respect to.
Yes, absolutely. So she will just
member of
barely
the nobility
touch
of the
your
opposite sex.
She's also, I imagine she's quite a bit taller than you because she's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And thin as hell. When you enter and close up the office, so it's just the two of you, she says, Lord Captain, I received a vision. One from the warp. Not a common occurrence, but one that felt pertinent to share. I had underlying tones that appeared to be related in some way with something aboard that vessel, the Righteous Path. If I may relay to you what I saw, perhaps that may give some credence to what I say, and perhaps something for you to stew on.
I say yes. As the other leading psyker aboard the ship, do you wish Winter to be present for this telling, or do you wish to keep it between the two of us?
I think perhaps for now, keeping it compartmentalized is perhaps a better way than to share all pertinent information. As we know, anything from the warp and anything from Xenos can be damning for those involved, yes?
Yes. Very well. Just the two of us then. Please do tell.
The vision involved a metallic sphere, but with coils of flesh, not unlike a kraken, writhing and reaching through all of space and time. This vision came to me in a dream that I had once we left the warp most recently. Probably while you guys were on the surface of the planet, is what she's intimating. And this vision carries the warp taint of being inspired by the warp. What else I could tell you is that while the sphere appears to be in a region of the expanse known as the Rifts of Hackathon, the writhing tendrils of flesh appear to reach out throughout the expanse, as though stretching and straining to encompass every star in this proto-sector. Lastly, I am not normally prone to such insanities, at least not yet. And that last part, when she's like, at least not yet, she says that kind of under her breath dismissively. I am not one prone to such insanities, at least not yet, but I do believe this to be something of a real thing, a portent or warning. But what of specifically, I am not sure.
So you said Hecaton.
Yeah, so she's indicating that the sphere of her vision originates somewhere out in this stretch.
In the warp storm on the other.
Well, that's not a warp storm. That's the dying edge of the galaxy. As I understand it, it's basically, if you look in the book, there's actually a description for the rifts of Hecaton, and effectively what it sounds like is one, the edge of the galaxy, but also like a lot of old dead stars out there.
Okay. I'm not as familiar with the lore of the edge of the galaxy.
No worries, no worries. I'm not terribly lore friendly either, unfortunately. But yeah, she relays this tale of this sphere originating from somewhere within the rifts, but regardless of where that sphere might actually be, she got the impression that there was these writhing, roiling tendrils reaching all across the Koronus Expanse to engulf every single star within their weird tentacle-y grip.
Important to be aware of for sure. Tell me, with your knowledge of the warp, did this metallic sphere and its tendrils seem like any sort of creature that you were familiar with or would have been warned about?
There has been none in my education of the warp and how to maneuver through it, indicating anything of this sort of malevolence, benevolence, whatever it may be. It is a strange amalgamation of creature and machine from what I saw. It definitely left a feeling of unease. Because of that, if it's within your purview, I would like to be there when you search this ship, when we arrive at the righteous path. I feel as though there is some form of connection between that ship and this vision. What specifically, I know yet not.
Yes, you feel that perhaps one of the metaphoric tendrils reaches to this very ship we seek.
It is possible. It could also be perhaps some sort of warning of an ancient evil power attempting to gain control of the solar systems of this stretch of the galaxy. It could also be some other thing that we're not. I mean, it's the warp. I'm losing my voice for her, but basically she's intimating that, you know, it's the warp. Anything could come out of the fucking warp. Good, bad, indifferent, totally unknowable even. Cosmic horror. It could have been Cthulhu itself. Except apparently he's at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, but I digress.
I'm going to ask her to put down on on a data pad of some sort, data slate,
Mhm.
or even on I can't remember what they call it vellum, I believe, don't they again?
I mean, we
If
could
you're
say
talking
paper
about
or parchment
physical,
even.
yeah.
I don't know what they use, but sure, hard copy.
Something that I can and ask her, even if she's capable of doing a basic sketch,
Mm-hmm.
put down whatever she could without necessarily something I could show someone else that wouldn't necessarily say that my navigator had a vision from the warp, but say this is so for example, I could show it to the Inquisitor
Mm-hmm.
without fear of saying, "Hey, my navigator saw a creature in the warp."
Yeah, yeah. It takes her a moment to consider how she might be able to convey images or ideas from that vision in such a way. And after a moment, she
Even if it's just textual.
she takes a data slate out and begins drawing. And what she ends up doing is using a very simplistic whirlpool like image, say like right here where it says the cauldron, taking a swirly image like that, sticks it over top an image of the rifts, and then draws a single thin line from that to a handful of various different stars. And she shows it to you and she says, "Is this what you are considering?"
This will be sufficient, my lady.
Very well. You can keep this. It was your data slate. It was on your desk a moment ago. Perhaps in our conversation you didn't notice I took it.
Very well.
Or
I'm
maybe
not
you
going.
offered it to her. I don't know.
I'm not going to show it to Winter
Okay.
at the current time, but I want that particularly to show to the Inquisitor in charge of Xenos who might actually know what something like this, or if we should encounter someone else with a knowledge of the warp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Winter's knowledge of the warp, since she's sanctioned by the Emperor, is probably going to be pretty far removed from.
I think
like this.
her focus of the warp is more about how to use it as a battery to channel telepathic communications.
Well, also, especially sanctioned by the Emperor and being blinded,
Yeah.
metaphorically as kind of as well, she's going to have less of a knowledge of the creatures of the warp and more about shielding and protection and
Yep.
our faith is in the Emperor type of thing.
Yep. We progress several more days. We are now about 3 days out from the Shard Halo. Icarus,
Yeah.
your augmetics on your body. Talk to me. What do you have?
Uh, so there's the he's got oh, what the fuck is it?
Because I'll be honest, I just don't remember off the top of my head what the Tech Priest starts as a standard kit, plus anything that you may have added.
Now, is this anyone's cybernetics or specifically to the Tech Priest?
This may or may not apply. This would apply randomly, but definitely to Icarus because I wanted to pick on him.
Okay.
There's that that rebreather. I
You
don't
have
know where that.
what's it called?
Didn't you get the arms?
I have a utility mechadendrite. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're definitely your utilidendrite. I don't know what to call it. Let me see. Let's look at what this is. Oh, it's the Explorator. That's what it's called. Your class. Let's see. Starting gear: bolt gun, best craft las gun, or good craft hell gun. Blah blah blah. Enforcer light carapace, multi-key void suit injectors, sacred unguents, microbead, combat tool, data slate. Also begins play owning and controlling one serval skull familiar. You now have 2 serval skulls. They have Greek names I don't remember. I want to say Archimedes and something else.
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, that's it. And then 375 has a bunch more.
I believe the 2 additional cybernetics that you're about to ask about, he did not choose to take those, or he overlooked that he could take those.
No, it's been too long. I'm finding this out.
So you have the mechadendrite for utility use,
Yeah.
and then you have the serval skulls. Okay. That's fine. I can work. So what you notice through the course of the first part of this day, again, about 3 days out from the Shard Halo, is first your particular mechadendrite is acting oddly. The servo skulls also begin to act oddly. Instead of floating around, they start to sit. And at one point, you see them. Maybe you had sent them out on some sort of task, and they come back after completing it, and they just sit instead of floating. They sit, and they actually ended up sitting, staring at each other. They don't do anything. They're servo skulls, right? But it's odd that they sit down and stare at each other.
Pythagoras, Archimedes, stop being lazy.
Yeah, float correctly, you bastards. But also your utility mechadendrite rather. I think there's at some point you make it reach for something maybe, and it just misses. Like, and we're not talking about like missing by a few microns. It misses by like a full shelf. Instead of going to the second shelf, it goes to the fourth shelf. Can you make me a tech use to do some sort of like a diagnostic test, and then add any relevant modifiers you might have that are inherent to you being a tech priest and all that? I don't know if you have any of those.
So that
Is
is
this something I can assist him with?
This is strictly him. I mean,
I
if
was
you
like, would
happen
he-
to be around him, maybe.
I was like, would Alturios have, or sorry, would Icarus have told anyone I'm malfunctioning?
Yeah,
no,
and this is happening down in the Enginarium or whatever it's called, like one of your daytime posting places.
this is like this is like you being like slightly sick and still going to work. Like,
Yes, yeah,
no one's gonna know about this.
Yeah, and
So
and right now you're like, this is odd. My mechadendrite missed by over a meter and 17 degrees of alignment, and also those two are staring at each other, seated on my desktop. This is how bizarre. How bizarre.
Okay.
My
So
my
it's-
arm missed by a measure of 42,000 microns.
Yeah, it definitely is a much more finite number than meters and degrees.
I will spend a fate point to turn the
To boost your score.
68 to 78.
78 tech use. Okay, go for it. That is an amazing roll. So you spend some time digging into the servo motors for your mechadendrite and your servo skulls, getting into their coding, and what you are coming across over the course of a couple of hours of digging and diagnostics and whatnot. Your equipment appears to be receiving conflicting orders, contrary to anything you have instructed them to do. After several attempts to get the equipment to work properly, you realize that the only way to solve it is attempting a system reboot and exercising a few trails of bad code. Go ahead and give me another tech use, but this, instead of the, what was it, 78? Go ahead and...
Over the table, because I'm curious for
Uh-huh.
flavor.
Uh-huh.
Is it signals coming from outside, or is it signals originating within the code?
It's not within the code. I know where you're going with this. The signal's coming from inside the house?
No, I'm wondering if it's receiving external orders, or if it's glitches within the code itself.
It's difficult to say, but another tech roll. But go ahead and give yourself that plus 10 from the fate point, but don't worry about the fate point use. So I think you're still at a 78 or 6 or whatever it was.
I was just thinking, with that many degrees of success, he would know if it was internal or external.
Yeah. So it definitely appears to be some sort of external source, but the reboot and dumping the bad lines of code are successful. On the other hand, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can ask a few questions if you want, based on your roles. If you want to try
I
to
was
get more
gonna say,
information.
can I tell like how external this is? If this is like beamed and like type beam, or if this is somewhere from on the ship?
It is coming from outside the ship, and it appears to be not a tight beam. It's more of like a cloud. I don't know if that's
Oh,
really the best way to explain it because I'm not 100% sure how. So instead of it being, so I picture like a tight beam being a literal point to point transmission, and then
yeah,
anything other than that is probably going to be more like a radio type transmission where it just goes in a
yeah.
vague direction or all directions. This appears to be either vague directional or omnidirectional.
Okay.
It
The
also
next
seems to
thing,
be applying, by the way, sorry, but it also appears to be applying randomly to other bits of equipment and smaller pieces, things. Obviously, nothing major like a major computer system or, God forbid, the engines, but it's little things. Diagnostic tools aren't always working correctly. Anything that would be on a network of some sort, but small.
I was gonna say the ship is getting a once over from top to bottom, and every single servitor on the ship is getting recalled at some point at intervals, so it doesn't look like all of them.
Okay.
Would you
Um,
would you
to
inform the
fix
Lord Commander that there was random signals interfering with the ship?
it. If I found that there were other signals all over the place, and if it was affecting the servitors, yes. If it
Okay.
was restricted just to me, then no.
All right. So here's what happens. You set about doing your uh let's call it Adeptus Mechanicus purge and a diagnostic full diagnostic sweep of everything in a rhythmic pattern so it doesn't look like you're doing something like this. Give me a tech use plus 10, which will be your, I believe, 78. So if you want to throw anything else on top of that, absolutely you can.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It should catch up with me eventually.
Yeah. Don't worry about
Terrible.
re-rolling it to your,
Alright.
it's not terrible. It's not going to fuck anything up. But I will say this. I do need also a willpower challenging, which is plus 0. This one you may want to put a fate point on. It's up to you.
Yeah, my willpower is only 32, so.
Okay, so bump this up to a 42. Did you
Oh
just?
my god.
That's amazing. Okay. All right. So here's what you find out over the course of the next 2 to 3 days. Like by the time you get all the pieces of information together and compiled into something that makes sense and start seeing the connection and see how the dots make a pattern, you're now like not terribly far from where the righteous path is. Probably the order of like several hours out. You go through basically everything that you could put your hands on in that amount of time across the ship. Servitors, serval skulls, some of the major systems on both the bridge and in the enginarium. You do a full on, like a complete workup of everything attached to your body, anything that you actively use on the regular basis, including your weapons. And you get feedback reports and a few prayers and litanies and whatnot from the Omnissiah, the machine spirits and whatnot. And this is what you come up with. There absolutely 100% is some sort of, I'm going to use the word Wi-Fi signal coming from the righteous path into the ship. You're not sure exactly what's causing it and why it only started recently, but it's here and it's obvious. It might be simply because of proximity that you're within its range and you are now picking up its signal. But that signal is conflicting because of, for lack of a better way to phrase it, the way radio signals are wave functions, and one wave function can interfere with another wave function. Does that make sense, the way I'm explaining it?
So this could be just our chips are too close together. We need to spread out a bit.
More or less. It's not doing anything necessarily dangerous or damaging. It's just annoying. Like none of the malfunctions that have taken place have caused any sort of harm, irreparable damage, or anything like that. And you remember, for instance, like you were like, "Oh, I need my mechadendrite to grab that thing on that shelf over there," and it missed by a few feet. That's like the wildest of malfunctions, but they're noticeable and therefore they're not within compliance with the Omnissiah.
I was gonna say there will be a report on Lord Commander's desk saying this is ruining efficiency by like fractions of a percent. This
I
needs to
think
be
it-
corrected pronto.
I think it's more like a couple points of percent, like 2 or 3%, with plenty of decimal places, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like this is a noticeable deviation from what is expected. This is a deviation of more than 2.2%. This is actually at 2.4548997 repeating. It needs to be corrected now, Lord Captain.
Yeah.
This is completely unacceptable.
Very, very well. I just forgot engines here. This
Mhm.
signal. Is there a way to use our electronics and augers to jam or prevent the signal from reaching the ship? It may be nuisances now, but should we gain closer or the signal change in some way, it could become dangerous. Is there some way to provide extra protection for our ship for it before we reach the righteous call? That was
I
the
mean,
name of it, right?
Righteous
we
path.
could just
Close enough.
we
Right,
could
just
just we could just have our stuff like I could tune the antennas to just be
Cancel it out
full
because again,
blasts and like basically cause interference to them that would just keep the signal from going through, but
it would
we'd be
also,
doing
in your
screwing their
knowledge,
stuff, yeah.
it would also severely degrade shipboard communications between the ship and anybody that went down to the righteous path.
I would make clear that more what I was looking for is it's understandably minor for now, and you should do whatever you can to fix it. But in the event that it becomes worse, is there any safeguards we can put into place to help protect the ship and its Omnissiah blessed components?
I mean,
Give me a tech roll or tech use roll. Plus 10.
blah.
I like how you just like blah. Okay, yeah. You know that part of basically the main part of the problem is because of how waveforms and signals like that are all waves, etc., etc. That if it came down to it, you can have there's a word, I just cannot think of it.
Contingency?
No, it's how you have one wave can cancel out another wave
A
because
nullifier, basically.
it would be a nullifier. There's another. God damn it, I can't think of the word. It's right there. I know the word. It's right on my tongue. I just can't get it to actually leap out my mouth. This is actually bugging me right now.
Speaking of Star Trek, Captain, if we just modify the waveform for
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what this
communication.
boils down to, right? It's just
I just placed a waveform cover.
oh god, it's just the way waves work, and you can have them like cancel each other out, and I just can't think of the fucking word I want to use.
Interference?
It is
No.
interference, but that's not the word I'm trying to fucking think
it's
of.
the perfect mirror that causes
Harmonics?
Oh god, you're so close. Harmonics is part of what I'm thinking.
Harmonic interference?
Resonance.
Resonance.
Jesus
A
Christ.
resonance cascade?
Yeah, like how it
when two signals cancel each other out, it's called destructive interference.
that works too. Yes.
In fact,
But yeah, resonance was the word I was looking for.
it's when the waves and troughs of a signal match up.
Yep. Where they basically the high points and the low points exactly counter each other or something like that.
Yeah, it's essentially a mirror image of a signal.
Yep.
In some respects. So
it is possible that if it becomes necessary, you can generate that sort of signal yourself to cancel it out and possibly even completely nullify whatever that thing is doing. But for now, it is a minor inconvenience, and in the eyes of anybody related to the Omnissiah, this is unacceptable. But barely, mission compliance tolerable. Otherwise, completely unacceptable.
I say, your mistake was bringing a calculator on board.
How dare you? And it means we are now in the final moment. I think we'll have as our closing shot an image of the Acheron's ferry moving gently into the Halo.
Go ahead. I apologize.
Go
I
ahead.
have one other question. Would the signal coming, because we don't actually, we technically have a search area.
Uh-huh.
would the signal coming from the righteous path
Huh?
be able to narrow down where it is within the field, and be able to zero in on that signal as well?
Absolutely. And here's what it looks like. In our closing shot, we get a view. We zoom back to reveal more of the shard halo, but we see the Acheron's ferry clearly because we're not going that far out, right? But we can see the ship clearly moving in on a single asteroid. It is a large asteroid. It's much larger than the Acheron's ferry itself, and we get a glimpse as the camera begins to shift and then zoom in on this asteroid. We get a glimpse of what looks like some sort of ship, very similar in some ways, but different and unique to the Acheron's ferry. Crashed, the spine broken, a gaping hole in the side of the hull, and we see the Acheron's ferry as it comes closer and closer to the dead ship that you guys have been looking for. We will close there for the night.
Woohoo!
Go ahead and take 250 experience points.
That is
Oh boy,
disappointing.
a space Hulk. I hope there's no gene stealers on board.
It's not a space Hulk, it's a treasure galleon.
Yes, that is correct. A Space Hulk is significantly larger, made of many ships and other things.
I'm just disappointed because I was imagining having a galleon added.
Can there still be gene stealers on board?
I mean, the larger the structure, the much higher the chances of living forms being on there. Yes. Yeah, 250 experience points because you cleared the. Actually, I'll give you 300 because you cleared the orcs and you got to the righteous path. We'll leave it at that. So 300 experience points for everybody. 150 for my NPCs. Are you keeping track of winter stuff?
I just added 250 to her sheet.
Okay.
Sorry, 300.
That's fine. 550 him. 700.
So I will level up Winter.
Okay.
I may even ask Rodance if she had a direction she wanted to take the character and level it up based on that.
I think she did. I just don't remember what it was.
We had discussed kind of what she was going to do.
Oh my god, is Darius falling asleep over there?
Possibility.
I've been staring at Word for a while. Darius is absolutely falling asleep over there. I shouldn't be laughing at him like that.
I mean, I've done that. I'm not.
I mean,
but
we've
like,
all
wow.
been there. We've all been there.
Hope he's doing okay.
Let me go ahead and flip this over so people don't see all that.
Kind of want to go watch the VOD to see when he fell asleep.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about that too, but I digress. Let's do some outros and feedbacky stuff, starting with Alturios.
I liked it. Wrapping the combat up finally was nice.
Yeah, it's always a little, not for nothing. Like, I enjoy the combat.
I do too. It's just
it goes a little bit longer than you expect it to, which I thought we'd be able to do it in a single session.
To be fair, we have a lot of action economy going on.
Yeah.
And I know you have to weight that against our increased action economy. So if it was just us, then it might be a bit quicker. But
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
I was gonna ask. Sorry, I'll wait for my turn.
Stepping onto the I just forgot the name of the room.
Oh, let's call it the Star Chamber because I can't remember what I called it earlier.
Yeah.
The Star Mirror, something like that.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
That was pretty cool. And then just the thought of servo skulls. Just deciding that they're done floating for the day. They just want to lay down and have a nap.
Well, the best part I thought was when they just sat down and started staring at each other. Because I just picture they're just floating above you, right? And staring generally forward. But now this time they're just gonna sit down and stare at each other.
This was not nap time. You are not allowed to sleep.
So yeah, that was definitely a nice image right there. Yeah. You got anything else?
No, it was all around good.
Okay. Warner, I know you love to give me feedback. What do you got for me today?
This was a great session. We finished up the combat. Nothing went particularly wonky, though I did find out that we'd been doing suppressing fire wrong.
Oh,
It
really?
needs a weapon needs to have full automatic to use it as suppressing
Ah.
fire, which is why I posted the thing for the assault las gun, because that has full automatic on it,
Gotcha.
and
So
they
what I'm
could do
hearing is there's going to be
suppressing
an
with that.
acquisition roll for about 2,000 assault las guns in the future.
No, maybe just 50, because that's the next tier up above like 10, I think.
Whichever one gives a more easily manipulatable modifier. What else you got for us, Warner?
That was really all I had.
Okay.
Figured out we'd been doing something wrong, but other than that, everything seemed to work pretty much smoothly. It was a fun session. Nice cinematics with the mirror chamber or star chamber.
Whatever the name of the damn thing
We're gonna
was.
come out of this campaign, and those armsmen are going to be akin to super stormtroopers dual wielding like assault las rifles.
I am making a small note that I hope I don't miss and forget moving onward, but assault las rifles has been entered in my notes, so.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's kind of cool.
I was considering a las cannon team at some point.
I mean, we could definitely consider various, let's just say, kit loadouts, because, right now we're kind of going with just a basic generic rifle squad. Depending
Well,
on
we've-
a given situation, you could change that up a little bit.
I think most of our party has still been trying to get the basic equipment that we want, much less
Yeah,
equipment that the squad would.
yeah. Uh, ooh, excuse me. Rev, what do you got for us?
I was going to say, I know there's rules for squads of firing and things like that in tabletop in mass.
There is.
Would it be possible? I know it doesn't. It's not a 1-to-1 because it's a different rule set for the war game.
Oh, well, are you talking about the tabletop war game side of it, or what the Rogue Trader rules have?
I was talking about the war game side of it
Oh,
because
okay,
it doesn't
gotcha.
have a full on squad mechanic. I was wondering if we could perhaps take some of the rules that are used for firing weapons with increased shots, um, dabble with the ballistic skill and the numbers of successes, and basically just roll a couple of dice instead of 20 to determine does the squad hit, how many of the squad hit, etc.
Right. The other side of that too, and I'm not saying no or what have you to that. The other side of that too is the Rogue Trader rulebook should have mob rules, which is not exactly mass combat like armies upon armies. Although I think it does allow for that. It just gets a little crunchy, but it does allow for like, oh, there's a group of 50 Nurglings over there. Let's go take them out. I don't even know if is Nurgling StarCraft. I feel like it is. No, Zerglings
No,
is
Nurg-
StarCraft.
Zerglings is StarCraft.
Yeah,
Nurglings is
Um,
actually basic Nurgle demons.
gotcha.
They look like little toads.
Yeah.
I know Deathwatch had rules for that, so if you can't find it in that book, let me know and I'll see if I can dig them up on the Deathwatch book.
I have the Deathwatch core book, and maybe that's what I was thinking. But
Oh,
I know
okay.
it's out there somewhere in this system or system very very similar system. So
'Cause,
it
you
shouldn't
gotta
be
kill
hard
those
to pull
swarms
it
of
up.
rippers and
Yeah. Darius I think he's out. Oh wait. Oh, his eyes are open.
reactor
I'm
online.
fading in and out, but
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
here.
Are you able to put a couple of thoughts together for your outro / feedback comments?
Oh, are we
Yeah, we're there.
closing?
Yeah,
We are.
300
Yeah,
experience
we're
points, by the way. And he's like, shit, now
Ooh.
my brain's got to work.
Um, 300.
Yep. It was 200 plus 50 for the orcs, plus 50 for getting to the... You guys haven't quite made it to the righteous path, but you're just about there.
On our way.
Okay. No, I don't really have anything special for outro. I enjoyed the session.
All right.
241, 251, Remind me as I update some notes really quick before I forget. Any other things to add from anybody?
Thanks for running.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thanks
playing.
for
I'm
hosting.
enjoying this, and I'm glad we're finally getting near the end of this first segmentum. That I hope there's several more to go after this, and things don't get in the way of that. I hope also that I didn't just shoot myself in the face for saying that out loud on live air.
Oh boy, guys, it
Knock
looks
on
like
wood.
I can't.
Yeah, knock on wood, knock on my head, throw some salt over my shoulder, maybe sacrifice a goat. I don't know. But that is it here for us tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the show. Now that Darius is awake, let me go ahead and throw our faces, whatever it is, back up on the screen there.
As he turns away from the screen.
That's fine. At least this way they won't see him fall asleep, and we'll protect his.
No, I was just giving my cat some food.
Gotcha. But yeah, so thank you everybody for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please consider, of course, all of the buttons: like, share, subscribe, etc. Personally, I would also really like it if you could join us on the Discord server and come hang out with us and talk to us and throw some ideas at us. If you're still watching on the stream at any time live, !Discord will give you the invite link to our server. Otherwise, you can find it in the Discord, or excuse me, in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. And with all of that, let's get out of here. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grim, dark place, so make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. See you again soon. Have a good one.
I was